Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the stream. So today we're mainly just going to be chilling with stuff. I guess we might use the last week's mythic a little bit. It's pretty bad obviously, but I never did get to stream it since we were away at the time. So I guess we'll mess around with him a little bit later on. But for the most part, our main goal is get all the glories and get all of the souls. We do need more of both of them, particularly the souls. As we will be needing approximately 1.3 million in about 2 months or so. So we're not even halfway there yet. But let's just get some resources. I also need more gold for the, even though I didn't put in the title, I also need to farm up gold for the New Kingdom. New Kingdom should be coming out the 26th, not next Friday, but the following Friday. So 2 weeks from now, we should be getting the New Kingdom. So when that comes out, we're going to be needing a lot of gold keys if you want to get every single new common to mythic. It takes so many resources to do so. They have mentioned that they might be eventually reworking event keys so that it's not as big of a hassle, which would be very helpful. But they still haven't implemented that, so we'll see exactly when that comes around. Not sure if it's in next patch or not. They haven't really mentioned much about what specifically is in next patch. They mentioned like a thing here or there, but nothing too confirmed yet. At least from what I have heard from Salty on her streams. We'll go throw the explosions down. I think we finally have alignment. Oh, it's gonna oh no, it didn't mercy us. Good. That's really good because it would have gotten a lot of value there. Surprised it didn't go for it. Which one do we even go for here? Let's do it on you just in case. I have a feeling it's gonna do something weird, and then we can just clear it out and we're good to go. And, oh, another alignment. There we go. Well, don't even need it. Let's go for another explosion. And throw that into the AoE, and we're good to go. How many coins do you need for the gold keys? Each one is, I want to say 300 gold. I actually forgot off the top of my head, because I normally always have gold keys, so I don't know their actual price. I think it's 300 gold each, I'm pretty sure, for the gold keys. Pretty sure. But yeah, we need about, I think, 20,000 of them. 20, 25, 30,000 to be able to get every common in the game to mythic. This will serve two purposes. It will get us the new common from the New Kingdom to mythic. But what it will also do is it will get our fire bomb to mythic. It's still only ultra rare at the moment, but it will become mythic when we try getting the other one all the way upgraded, which is nice. I believe it gains 3 damage, if I'm not mistaken, when fully mythic, which isn't that much damage, but given that he normally runs in things like challenges and explore and things where the stats are very low, every single number counts pretty heavily. So him having 3 more damage would be quite helpful. Obviously, it's not that mandatory, but if we can get 3 damage instead of not having 3 damage, that is nice. But yeah, that's the plan with that. I don't know if there's 2 commons or 1 common. I really hope there's only 1. It's basically about the same amount of resources regardless, but if we get 2 unlucky on one of them, then we'd have to open up even more gold keys. But yeah, we'll see when it comes out. I believe it's only 1. Normally they've only been doing 1 lately. Let me go double check the thing. I think it might actually tell me right now if there is only 1 or 2. Where'd it go, 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 where'd it go? Why is it buried so much? There it is, okay. Let's see. Ultra rare, rare, legendary, rare, epic. Oh, the, that one guy is epic. The knight guy with the little dove on his shoulder. The legendary. Oh, there's a second legendary. A rare, an ultra rare. Does the kingdom have a single common in it? Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's your common? There it is. Okay, it has 1 common. So I was correct. There is only 1 common in the next kingdom. That's good. It's some kind of, I don't even know what that is. Let's see, destroy 7 gems and create 7 purples. Interesting. That could have potential. They've been adding a lot of really weird comments, but they kind of need to. I find it funny that some comments have better utility than ultra rares. For whatever reason, they give very little utility to most of the ultra rare troops. All of it lies in rares mostly, and some in commons. Hello, JZG. Also, hello, everyone. Hello, Techni. Hello, Simple. Hello, Vicky. And hello, Zeris. Let's see. You have yet to fully trait Dragon class. Why don't you use Gorgolfa instead of Mountain Crusher? I used to. That's actually what I initially used, but for the higher damage, we did end up switching over to a hero class using the Mountain Crusher. But yeah, that's what I originally used when I first started using that team, was a Gorgolfa. It still works out, particularly if you're up against Skull Spam or something. But if you happen to have the fully traded hero class, it does appear to work a bit better than a Gorgolfa. Yeah, you can easily use a Gorgolfa there, and it doesn't make any difference. I can go do that right after. Were you referring to with this exact team, or with the other one? I think you're referring to this one, as it's the only one we actually bother doing yet. But yeah, you can easily do this with Gorgolfa. I'll go do it over the other team slot. Actually, I might as well just replace it. But yeah, Gorgolfa Dragon Soul or Gorgolfa Christine X Dragon Soul, they both work very well. Let's go do it against this. Oh, those Scions are probably one of the worst things to try changing it into. Let me go get everything in here. Gorgolfa, I don't know why I just made an entirely new team. Guess it doesn't matter too much, but get the Ferris Ra in there. And good to go. Dragon Soul Banner. Actually, in this case, we could probably even go brown yellow, but Dragon Soul Banner. And yeah, we should be good to go. And if anyone has any questions, team builds you want me to do, or anything of the such, we'll be around for a couple hours, so definitely feel free to go and leave them. Yeah, it figures I was away the one Friday that we actually had new content. I guess I still will go over to new Mythic some, because I never did do a video on it. Or, you know, we covered a Teams video, but we never did a stream on it. It's pretty weak, though. Also, it's not even in the drop pool anymore. I hate doing, it would seem a little weird if I go over it heavily while there's nothing in the drop, because I actually just came away from the drop table this morning. Not like anyone's actually trying to seek him out, that's for sure. Poor little unused Mythic. At least it's better than them adding an overly overpowered Mythic. But still, it's disappointing when they add completely dead content immediately. Or at least at this current moment in time it is. It will have a purpose in the future, but based on what's currently available, that is not the case. Hey, can we get Dragon Soul already? There we go, finally. No more Scion. Of course, Gorgolfa hates Scion. And should be good to go from here. We'll throw that down, get our extra turn. And you know what? I probably should have killed Death. That's the only last thing on this team that could even kill me. Down it goes. Hello, Frag Hunter. Welcome. Do you recommend spending gems on dungeon offers? If you have them to spare, yes. If you don't have them to spare, only throw it on Sundays. Because Sunday is the best value to do it. But yeah, I would, if you have several thousand gems just sitting there, I would definitely put it into dungeon every day. Because the things that you can start crafting out of the diamonds is definitely worth it. Even though it's only a small amount, it adds up over time. But it's definitely worth it on Diamond Day when you get 80 on a Sunday. Among many other resources, it even gives you some gem keys, a celestial trait stone, and a bunch of other stuff to a higher degree. But yeah, on Sundays, it's always worth it. On every other day, it really just depends. Personally, I do it every day, but that's mainly because my stack right now is 15,378 gems, so it's not really going anywhere. Could I get a red Guild War team? You only have Wolf Garrick, Jotnar, Infernus, and War as far as mythics. Well, you could build it around Infernus then. So we'll go do something with that. Do you have Dragon Soul? Because normally I use that for the mana generator. You can use Karnax instead in place. I've always been more of a fan of Dragon Soul though, when using it in that team. Oh, what's the biggest threat? I guess Kraken. Actually, Queen Mab probably. Oh well, they're both a threat. And take our purple, get our Dragon Soul down. Actually, I don't even need it. We just go straight into a World Breaker. Go poke us, get a freeze. So that's the one we can easily cleanse. So it's probably not even going to matter. We just poke it. And now it has no way of winning. And one poke will match it. Or no, it won't, because we're entangled. Well, we're going to go do this then, and that will be the match. Alchemist and Furnace, anything Jotnar. You wouldn't really need to use Jotnar and Furnace together, I don't think. But yeah, Red Guild War Day, let me see. Let me go replace it over this. I still kind of want to use the Dragon Soul. But we get the Dragon Soul, we get the World Breaker. I assume you don't have Dawnbringer. So we'll just go with that so far. And let's see. Should we bother with an Alchemist? Alchemist would feed right into World Breaker. And we could go a Ragnagord instead. That would give us mana to everything. I don't know if you actually have a double traded Rag though. Alchemist would obviously be a lot cheaper. But Ragnagord you'd want to get eventually anyways. Ragnagord, and then we could set it to something like a red, a brown-red banner. And then the only thing we'd really need is a red-blue disable, so we can go something like a Merlion and just put it all the way in the back so we have Impervious. Because I don't know if you have it traded yet. Well, it's only on its first trait, so that should be pretty easy to get. Or at least easier than the other ones. But just in case, we'll put a Merlion last slot to ensure we have Impervious. And there we go. And you can replace Ragnagord with a Alchemist if you don't have it. And then we'll just go a red-brown banner. Wherever it may be. Where are you, red-brown? Red-brown, I know you're in here. There it is. The Garnock. Or Groshnock. Whatever you say for it. They always say all the orc things weirdly. Oh, he said he didn't have World Breaker? Wait, why did I put it? Oh, I meant to put Infernus there. Why did I put World Breaker? That meant to be an Infernus. That definitely meant to be an Infernus. Fail. Well, I'll revamp this team then in a second. Well, that was a fail. I, for whatever reason, thought you said World Breaker. Let's see. Well, let's play this out. It's a revenge battle, so I do want to win it. Brown. Oh, he's gonna drain or get rid of all the yellows. Not much I can do about that though. And he drains the correct one too, which is annoying. And he has Rag up. He has his own Rag. Okay, we'll move that. What do we go for here? Go for the explosion. Get our extra turn. Get the Rag. He's just gonna drain us, but we could just take a purple. A Surge should still be enough mana. Oh, but he has a Scion there. So I can't really take it. So Skull to Skull. Now we get the last of our mana. And oh, we can't Surge to full though. We can offer brown, but there's no brown available. Oh, there goes all of our mana as well. He could actually beat us just from constantly casting that. I think he is. 1 HP Dragon Soul with no mana. Also, it is downpouring outside. Wow. Out of nowhere, it just started raining like crazy. And I think we just lost. What a good example of the not team. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's over. Yeah, it's over. He's just gonna Infernus us, and then boom. Okay, Plan B. Back to the Infernus. Hey, another revenge battle. Hey, the exact same battle, almost. But yeah, let me go do that with Infernus. What would that change up then, if we did do it with Infernus? But now we have Burn. The only problem now is we have double red-purple. So we might want to get rid of the Dragon Soul for a utility troop. In that case, I'd probably go Dark Maiden. And we'll be good to go. And if you don't have Rag, you can replace it with an Alchemist. And brown-red now goes directly into our Dark Maiden. Actually, I don't even need the red anymore because we have it off of Dark Maiden. Oh, no, we don't. Never mind. Why did I say that? She is green, not red. Okay, never mind. We keep brown-red then. That's fine. And we just run it like that. The Dark Maiden, Ragnagord, or Alchemist. And Infernus plus Merlion. Let's hope the what's his name? The Spirit Fox doesn't go crazy again. That would not be good. Okay, good. It hit a absolutely useless troop, so we should be able to get into this. Though the only problem is he just got rid of all of our yellows, which is concerning given that we have a convert of all of the yellows. Let's go take a brown. It gets it to full mana, so we can go get an explosion. I need to clear out the board, so we'll do that under the purples there. And yeah, we should be good to go at this point. Got a little bit of everything that we need. The only thing we really need now is the Infernus to be at full mana. But we can try doing that off the Dark Maiden convert if we could ever get it. We have it on green right now. That's not particularly useful. I don't think there's anything else we could bother with it. Maybe red, but that's not an extra turn. So, do we go for the silence here? I think we do. So we'll go for that. I almost just did that on Cyan. I almost forgot it can't be silenced. So now we can do that on purple. That goes straight into there. And then we just throw that down, get our damage. And just keep cycling this until we win. Trying to hit this on purple. There we go. Okay, that dies to burn. And actually, he's going to die to burn too if it stays on. Do we have any alignment with this? Purple, though it's not extra turn. And that's about it. I guess we go for a red surge, or just simply go to yellow. Let's just do that. And that should almost be match. Everything except the Infernus should die. And now we just need to kill it with a Merlion. Oh no, he's going to get one cast off. No! Our score if this was Guild Wars. And down it goes. Yeah, something along those lines I think would work for you. And if you don't have Ragnagor to double trait, just replace it with an Alchemist. It's pretty much the same thing. Or at least for this team it would be. Because the main thing you need to get up is the Alchemist. The only reason I went Rag is because you get the Dark Maiden automatically, and you get to cast more Merlion with a Rag than if you were to go Alchemist. Yeah, something along that line would work out pretty well. Okay, anyways, let's go back to the farm. I could be using the other guy too for +5 glory. I don't know, I've just found him to be a little bit too slow. He doesn't really give anything to the team. Like, normally with new random troops that get added, at least they have some kind of utility that's like, oh, okay, at least they can somewhat help the team. But no, the new guy that came in on Monday, there's no beasts. There is almost not a single beast that is really used in late game anymore. At least at this current moment in time. So it doesn't really get to do anything. Oh, he has Famine. I always like how I go for the cast and just give myself even more damage. I don't think I'm going for it this time. He still gets a one-shot even though. So I guess it didn't really matter at all. He still had enough damage fail. And I think we lost again due to that. The devastating Famine. Drain. Oh, I can't wait till that new trait comes in. Someone brought to my attention yesterday that there's a new trait coming in that has immune to every single annoying thing in the game except for freeze. It has immune to stun, instant kills, the only thing with immune to instant kills, the only thing immune to mana drain, the only thing immune to transforming, and I think there's one other. Basically everything in the game except for stat reduction. I think stat reduction was the only thing that has absolutely 0 ways to immune against it once it comes in. I don't believe it had it on it. That'd be cool if they added that too. It's once they add the other trait, it'll be the only thing that's not counterable. Let's see. But most stat reductions you can counter with, I guess, magic reduction. Because most, actually, I think every single one of them is tied to a magic value. And the ones that aren't are really low values, like a 2 or a 6 or an 8 or something. What am I looking for right now? Oh yeah, I'm looking for the thing that had invulnerable or whatever it was called. Not sure if it's actually going to be a troop or what. Well, let me control find it. It would be a lot easier than trying to go through all of this mess. Yeah, invulnerable. Immune to stun, devour, death mark. So it can't lose its traits. Plus it has both the instant kill immunities. It has the only troop or the only trait to have immune to mana drain, the only trait to have immune to transform, and the only trait to have immune to lethal damage. And lethal damage, of course, being anything that can instantly kill something. Which is quite useful, because currently not even Impervious is immune to those 3 things. The main one I'm looking forward to in all of that is immune to mana drain. That could have came a very, very long time ago. I have no clue what the new trait is for. Currently, it's placed over a troop that has 6 colors, so I don't even know what's happening with that. It might not even be an actual troop. It could be some kind of boss for a new mode, and it's just underneath the spoiler thread. But if that trait does become an actual trait, that needs to be a thing. That definitely needs to be an actual trait. It doesn't need to be put on a lot of troops, but at least a few need that trait. It'd be so amazing. And Queen Mab would still counter it too, because it doesn't have mana burn protection and it doesn't have freeze protection. Speaking about Queen Mab being annoying, free spam and stun spam. I'm surprised people are still using this team. This is like a really old one. Well, I shouldn't say like really old, but this was back like pre-Corvash nerf, when everyone used to run that as the only team they ever ran. It's still really strong, it's nowhere near what it used to be. And knowing what it used to be compared to using it now just feels so weird to me. And then it goes. Actually, I didn't even need the extra souls. I was doing that specifically for that, but oh well. Why am I still using the Gorgolfa variant? Oh wait, never mind, I wasn't. I was using the other one. Yeah, never mind, that's correct. It does work with Gorgolfa, I just prefer the the Mountain Crusher. I did originally used to use it with the Gorgolfa, and it's definitely not bad with it. It's just the amount of extra damage you actually can get on your World Breakers is so much higher that when you start getting extra turn spam, it's just way better to have it set up this way. It's also less of a liability against Scion, since you only have 11 mana cost instead of a 15, which would feed the entire mana of Scion if you had full mana. Whereas even if you had full mana on this, that wouldn't instantly give Scion full mana. It would still require at least one more turn to get his mana up. Wow, we have almost nothing to take. I guess we'll go for the double drop. We did not get the Surge, though. I might just go for it again at this point. Which one has a better Surge chance? I guess we'll just take the yellow. No! It didn't Surge. Okay, we'll take the red, take the green, and World Breaker it all away. Get our extra turn for the extra magic. And he's going to get a Christine X. I'd rather him do it now, though, than later, because it won't get it in the way as much now. Really? We're so short on the mana. Guess we'll go for the kill because we can. And then Dragon Soul the World Breaker. And that should be the match. Let's see. 33. Yeah, that's way more than enough damage. And down it goes. There are 3 decent endgame beasts. Giant Spider, Forest Guardian, and Cabarrus. I think there's a few others too. Let me double check. Let's see. Every good late game beast. The problem is most of them would be used together, and that very rarely occurs. Black Beast kind of is, under the right circumstance. He's really situational. Boar Rider is decent for board control, though generally there's better options. Dire Wolf is amazing, even though it's only a common. It's one of the strongest commons in the game at the moment. As well as the strongest possible... ironically, there's a common right now that has the best Hunter's Mark in the game. And it's on a beast, which kind of doesn't really make much sense. You'd think that against a beast, like some kind of hunter, would have the best Hunter's Mark. But no, it's the actual Dire Wolf that's probably going to get hunted that has the best Hunter's Mark. But yeah, as a common, he has one of the best abilities for a specific stats effect. That's when you know you don't have enough Hunter's Mark in the game. Fenrir is really good, particularly if you're using it with Wolf Garrick. Let's see, other... Fire Lizard on occasion works. Giant Spider is probably the best beast at the moment. There's Forest Guardian, of course, for 50% more on all beasts. Hellcat generally gets used with Alchemist. Cabarrus on occasion has a summon and has a Devour chance. Merline, because of silence, plus a targetable silence at that. I would not really say Queen Aurora is worth it anymore, due to how they nerfed her final trait. So I wouldn't really bother with her. And Spirit Fox, of course, because of the Drain. Sunbird, because of the AoE. Even though I'm mentioning several right now, almost none of these have synergy with each other, which is the biggest problem. Umber Wolf for its Perpetual Purple Storm. Warg for early game souls. So later in the game, you just use Dragon Soul always instead. Werewolf, because it has a transform back and forth, so you can keep a tank up front. Wolf Garrick, very situationally, basically always with Fenrir to go and buff it up. And that's about it. Winter Wolf used to be, but the way that they changed gem spawning a little bit and made it a 13 gem requirement instead of a 10 made it quite a bit weaker, and it's not really worth using anymore. You might as well just use Dire Wolf instead. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So about 10, I want to say 10 beasts that were viable, approximately. Biggest issue with some of them is that they need so much setup to actually work. Like, for example, a Black Beast. Yeah, you know Ryan X is OP. You and your Ryan X. I'll go take the purple. I'm surprised that your most used troop isn't Ryan X. Gotta always put that Ryan X on the team. Do we try for a blue right there? Is it worth it? Probably not. Going for it. Okay, that actually worked. I was not expecting that to work. But, yeah, there we go. And how it cascaded was the last way I would ever expect it to go. But we'll go and take a purple right there. See if we can get a Dragon Soul into Fairish Ra and then go from there. And nope, not at all. That would be a very horrible Fairish Ra cast, so let's take a skull. And now we have alignment. What do we get rid of? Valkyrie or Skady, whatever her name is. Take out that, take that, Dragon Soul, go from there. Okay. So he can't really do anything at this point. And one Dragon Soul will kill it. Exactly 17 damage. Why not double Fairish Ra, remove Roadbreaker from this team? I'm normally not a fan of using double Fairish Ra due to how much slower it can go. We'd be using 2 less colors, though one of them we convert out. It's just we'd have to get a really, really quick Dragon Soul for that to work. We'd have to Dragon Soul into the Fairish Ras to be able to get away with that. Because if we're going to start casting Fairish Ras, we need to make sure it's in one-shot range. The reason we can get away with it now is the Worldbreaker plus Dragon Soul combo does so much AoE damage that it doesn't even matter if we have the one-shots on the Fairish Ra, because anything he casts will get cleaned up easily through the AoE. Oh, he actually missed that. That was very lucky for us. I think we actually just got full mana on him because of that. Is there anything weird I can go move? I don't think so, so we'll just take a green into another green if he lets us. Move that over, take a green so he doesn't, and should be good to go. Well, never mind. He got all the greens, and he got a famine. Okay, that is really bad. I think we just lost. Pretty sure we just lost. We'll move that over. But yeah, with double Fairish Ra, we use a lot less color. And normally with Exploders, you want to try using every possible color. I see that this loses our turn, but I'm still going for it, because I need the Cascade. And then we just take a red and hopefully start getting this team rolling before he destroys us again. Come on now. There we go. Very nice, very nice. Another Skull Poke of 1 damage. The mighty 1 damage. Hopefully Cascade into something. Nope, not at all. Okay. Not good. Luckily, there's almost no green on the board right now. And he misses, of course. We'll go get ourselves the Worldbreaker, and I think we can win from here. And now we have the Fairish Ra. It gives him a lot of mana. Oh, you know what? Take that. Move that down. Oh, I thought that would align. Fail. It's everywhere except where I need it. Good job. Okay, we'll throw that down. And then just throw this. But yeah, Fairish Ra either needs alignment or he needs a lot of mana generation. Problem is he normally doesn't get both. The biggest liability of using only him is you're going to get a lot of boards that aren't worth casting. Like you'll get a board where you'll have him, but the board control that he does is not worth putting onto the board. And normally you need a board clear for that. We do have board clears, but we'd have to constantly keep board clearing if we wanted to try setting up the board for him, which might be too big of a liability. Speaking of that, can you stop getting Scion? What is with all these Scion Rag Famine teams again? I thought people kind of stopped using that for a while. They appear to be back, though, out of nowhere. For no apparent reason, just have all of these teams back again. Okay, let's go take the green to purple. Let's see. You're gonna hit level 1,300 soon. Very nice. Very nice. Actually, I think I'm a lower level than that. You're already past me. Oh, you mean... Oh, never mind. I thought you said Tacet. You meant Techni. Okay, my bad. Didn't see you said Tacet's girlfriend. It's funny. Yeah, he is way, way up there. What even is your level these days? I think it's... Are you almost like 1,800 or 1,750? I know it's somewhere around that really, really high area. Oh, whoops. We didn't use anything yet, so that did almost no damage. Fail. I didn't realize we didn't have any souls yet. Also, that's the only really bad thing I feel like about the new Mythic too. Or not the only bad thing, there's so many bad things about it. But the most recent Mythic that came in last Friday, it is really hard to determine how much damage he actually does. Because you need to keep track the entire game of how many kills have been killed. Not only on your own team, but also on the enemy team. Which I found to be really frustrating to even bother using him. It's the same thing that kind of happened with, well, not exactly the same. But, what's his name? Edit team. What's his name? I know he's red-green and boosted based on armor. Where'd he go? You know what? It'd be easier if I just do this. Go to Leonis Empire. That is not Leonis Empire. This guy. That guy. Pride Guard. He is really ridiculously annoying to calculate. To the point that you basically never bother using him. He's a 4-to-1 boost ratio based on all the armor in the entire game. It's kind of like how annoying it is to calculate a Tesla, except you need to calculate it for only a single target, which is more annoying because for single target damage, you normally need to know how much damage you're doing. For split damage, you normally don't need to know exactly. But that's still slightly different than the new Mythic. Because with the new Mythic, you can't even determine if you, what the number is. With him, it's just annoying to calculate. It would be cool if they started adding values, kind of like how they do for the amount of gems, but also have a value for how much damage they do, or whatever their condition is. So if their condition is something like how many kills have been killed within the game, it could tell you, like, right there, oh, 4 kills, and then you'd know exactly what the ratio is. Or for something that boosts based on armor, tell how much armor there is, or the actual amount of damage with the ratio or something. It would make it a lot easier. It is fun calculating out some of them, but some of them get really tedious. Or they're so complicated to try to calculate out that it's not worth bothering. Yeah, I know. He's level... Oh, wow. You're actually over 1,800? I was not expecting that. Yeah, he's going to be the first person to hit level 2,000 for sure. He has a several hundred level lead over the next highest. So, yeah, he has quite a heavy lead. Hopefully we'll be getting a new game mode. They did mention it. Though we should probably mention it to them again once Tech9's getting close to level 2,000. It's like, hey, the highest level on the game is almost level 2,000. You should probably add another game mode now. Also, I tried asking them last Q&A. Oh, by the way, I believe they're doing another Q&A this Monday. What was I just about to say? Oh, last Q&A, the most recent one that they did, they completely avoided the part of my question where I asked if they're ever going to be basically reworking the leveling system. They ended up tangenting onto the hero class and everything like that, and hero weapons and stuff like that. But they didn't actually answer the question, or the part of the question that was asking about hero leveling, and if they will ever rework it. Because at this current moment in time, it is impossible to become level 10,000, which is the max level in the game. It takes somewhere around 100 years or so. Tech9 might be at level 2,000 now, but it keeps getting slower and slower and slower to level. And it does eventually reach the point where it would take pretty much another 95 or so years. Somewhere around there, based on how far he is. Let's see. Sort of Dragon Soul down. Any news about Arena Dawnbreaker issue? It is something that they're planning on fixing, and they have addressed or said many times that they are definitely trying to look into what the fix will be. As far as what the actual fix will be, they have not the slightest clue. I believe Nimhane is the main one behind that at the moment. I'm not 100% certain, but they're not certain on what they're going to be changing. A couple things that were floated was basically making it so you have a predetermined weapon choice to do, which is how console used to be set up, but then it wasn't anymore. Another option was just to make it so you can't use legendary or mythic weapons in arena. And another option was just completely remove hero from arena, which I would think is the least likely one to happen. But they were mentioning that mainly because hero just keeps getting more and more stats through leveling and such. And if they rework the hero system, it's kind of holding them back some from making hero too reworked, because then it would just be too overpowered in arena. Which it kind of already is, but that's besides the point. It's like, oh, we don't want to make a hero too overpowered in arena. Too late. Way too late. World Breaker. The biggest issue with Dawnbringer is everyone who doesn't have Dawnbringer. That's basically the big issue with arena. Like, there's no issue with it invade-wise. One other suggestion that was suggested is kind of as a joke, but also seriously, was... oops, I should have cast it on him. I don't know why I didn't. But they stated that they should make it so if anyone is using Dawnbringer in arena, that when someone fights it, it comes up as something that's not Dawnbringer. And that would be the way to fix it. But yeah, it's really not an issue for invading. The biggest issue that comes with it is people that have to fight against Dawnbringers who don't have a Dawnbringer at all, or really any good weapons. Because you can start fighting Dawnbringers as low as like a couple hundred levels. You could be probably around level 300 and start seeing Dawnbringers in arena. And at that point, you would be way, way, way miles away from getting yourself a Dawnbringer, or even any competent weapon in general. Let's see. Actually, by that level, you probably would have most of the weapons. So never mind, but still, you wouldn't have a Dawnbringer. Okay. Did we take a brown? Did we take a... That's about it. Unfortunately, there's no brown. We need a brown! No brown for you. It's gonna get to drain. Almost everything we have has no mana, though, so I guess... Oh, I just gave it even more to hit on. Okay, that's bad. You can stop now. It's like a cockatrice, except it doesn't... It's not as annoying. I actually find the cockatrice to be a bit more annoying than it. I want this red, but I don't want the consequences of taking that red. So, nope. Ah, my throat is all weird this morning. Here we go. Anyways. I'm gonna go throw down a brown. Go destroy all the browns, which is only like 7, but maybe he'll clear some. 6. I didn't mean like that. I meant add more, not less. When I said clear some. Well, we'll go through the explosion. And... Are we even frozen on brown? Yes, we are, because we're frozen on first lot. There we go. And now we just need to kill the Kraken before he kills us. And should be safe. No, we're not. Never mind. He's just going to get the Queen map now, too. Is that enough damage? No, it is not. Okay, let me World Breaker then. Oh no, he has it. Yeah. I gotta kill it now. Is that enough damage? No, it is not. Okay, well, we have to Dragon Soul into luck then. No! Okay, but for whatever reason, it didn't kill me. So that's perfect. We'll throw that down. And now we just Fair Shroud again, and down it goes. Is there a better looping team than Forest Troll, Veno? What's Veno? Venoxia, Queen Mab, and Sea Troll. Let's see. I'd probably use a Kraken instead of Venoxia. But other than that, yeah, that'd pretty much be good. The problem with Venoxia, it does do both the colors that you need and puts them back on the board. The biggest issue with it is that the greens can overwrite the blues and the blues can overwrite the greens. So even though if you have a lot of them on the board, you can still miss pretty easily. You'd be more consistent just doing a single color, like just sticking with the Forest Troll, Sea Troll, and then using something like a Kraken to not only do more damage, speed up the battle, but also to still loop as well. It's why so many people run it with the Forest Troll, Queen Map Kraken combo. Actually, normally the Kraken's up front. The Forest Troll Kraken Queen Map combo. And then the whatever other one you use is just utility. Yeah, Forest Troll, Sea Troll is pretty nice. Same as Dark Troll, Rock Troll. Even after they got nerfed. Well, they got buffed and then they got nerfed. But even after they're nerfed, they're still pretty good. Let's see. Throw that down. Get the Ferris Rod. I don't think I've hit over 10,000 wins on any hero class yet. As far as the hero class wins. And I'm at level 1,002 something. I generally use quite a bit of hero classes though. But these days I've mainly just been using Dragon Guard because of how many things to get used for. Not only do I use it for Guild Wars, but I need it for a couple of my PvP teams. Let me see. We're level... Okay, we're basically level 1,200. So 1,205. If we go check our thingies. Let's see, Dragon Guards at very low number, mainly because it hasn't been out for that long. Archer, I believe, was my highest. 5,574. Let me see, Dragon Guard, which one might have been higher? Either Mech or the other one. Oh, there it is, 8,232. And I think that's my highest, actually. And the only one that could possibly be higher is Sorcerer class, I believe. Yeah. And Sorcerer class is probably lower than that. And yes, it is. Okay, so my highest right now, and my total for it, I think is about 20,000 or so. Yeah, my highest is only 8,800 at level 1,205. It's going to be a long while before I ever get one above 10,000 because I would need to use Dragon Hero class for 9,000 wins in order to get it to that point. Not to mention I might be switching to Bard quite a bit, or whatever new hero class they might add in the near future. I don't think they've been mentioning anything of new hero classes, though. There's a bunch of other things that they're going to be reworking with heroes, so they're probably not planning on doing any more hero classes in the near future, because they want to work on all the other hero stuff. Your Mechanist is 22,260, or 632. Did you run that all in PvP? Or mostly in PvP, or was it mainly just explore and such? I want to tap that, but we can't. So we'll go through the Dragon Soul. And there we go, now we can tap it. At 1 HP. And that's pretty much match. Oh, no it's not. Why? Wait. What? I'm kind of curious now because of that visual glitch. If we kill that, will there be a troop underneath it? I must know. No, there isn't. You guys saw that, right? I never actually saw that before. And now it's gone. There was a fake 1 HP dead troop there that then got replaced with another troop. And then for whatever reason, the visual of it was removed after we killed the new summon troop. That's weird. Basically, there was a visual glitch and then it fixed itself during the battle. Yeah, I know. I switch classes a lot. Not only do we have 250 wins on every class, which I think a lot of late game people do, but we also have, on average, I think around 2,000 wins in every hero class. On average. Most of them being above 1,000. Except for the really useless ones. Your mech class is 237,000 battles? That is very, very, very high. I know for sure that one's mostly an explorer. We'll go throw that down. Get rid of Amnesia since it has so much mana. Wow. You might be the first person to have 1,000,000 wins on a single hero class. Actually, I don't even think you'll have that many by the time you reach 2,000. By 2,000, it'll probably be somewhere around 750,000. How slow is your leveling getting at that point? Does it even feel like it's getting any slower? Oh yeah, it's almost impossible to catch up with Techni at this point. The amount of progress he has is almost unbeatable. He could stop for a year and probably still be the highest level in the game. Actually, I think he has stopped before for some time, and still is the highest level. Also, if anyone has any questions, team builds you want me to do, or anything of the such, feel free to leave in chat. Otherwise, we're just going to be chilling, grinding, and all that kind of stuff. New Kingdom of Brightfar should be coming in 2 weeks from now, possibly next week. But that was the time Salty said, but I think she might have misspoke. But according to all the spoiler threads and everything, we should be getting the New Kingdom in 2 weeks from now. So not next Friday, but the following Friday, we'll have the New Kingdom. And of course, that brings in a lot of fun things. We have so many things to test when that comes out. The main one I'm looking forward to is the dragon, legend from the New Kingdom. There's actually 2 legends from the New Kingdom. Similar to when Glacial Peaks came in, it too will be coming in with 2 legends that are both most likely be within the storyline. Because normally what happens is a kingdom will only have 1 legend, and then because of that, only 1 legend will actually be in the storyline. But nope, this time again we'll have 2. Doesn't really make that big a difference, but hey, better. It is nice to have the extra 1. The only big issue with that though is the initial week or the initial 3 days before the before it becomes event key available. It becomes very, very, very ridiculously hard to actually get those legends, because you have about a 1 in a... I don't even know how many legends there are these days. 70? Let's say 70. You have about a 1 in a 70 chance that you would get specifically the 1 legend that you want. Actually, that's a good question. How many legends are there these days? Pretty sure 70 sounds about right, because there's 400-something troops in the game. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that commons or rares are the most scarce, not counting mythics. Let me see. How can I go check that? Can I even do that within a battle? I think I can. You can still see profiles, right? Yes, you can. Okay, so let me go see myself. Let me just say hi. Let me just say hi. Okay, there we go. Hi. What am I looking for? I'm looking for 430 is how many troops there are in the game right now. So yeah, that makes about sense. That makes about sense. What? I just said it twice. That makes sense that about 70 of them or so would be mythic. I mean, would be legends. I can't talk today, gosh. We'll go take the reds, get our explosion, and go from there. Do we have any extra turns laying around? No, we do not. Wait, anyone else seen a glitch on Android where you kill a troop and it says stays in sight, though it's dead, as your victory shows? Yes, I've had that before. It happens on all platforms. Not quite sure what causes it, though. Normally it's from doing too much damage too quickly, I believe. I'm not sure specifically what results in it. We don't have an extra turn chance, do we? No. Which is bad, because he has Scion right there. And, ooh. I want to take that red, but he's almost guaranteed going to take that skull. And if he takes that skull, he gets an extra turn. Well, that's bad. That is worse. Okay, I think we just lost. Oh, there we go. Good job. Random skull for the win. Kind of. What's the game plan here? I guess get World Breaker up and work from there. There we go. Very lucky. Very, very lucky. Now, if only we could do something about famine, and we'll be good. There we go. We could do something about famine. Wow. Getting a really nice board right now. Oh, except I just gave him death. He better not get double death mark. Oh, never mind. That has immune to death mark. We don't even need to worry about it. So did we go all in on Fair Shra, or hope he doesn't die to death mark? I think we're going to hope he doesn't die to death mark. He's going to die to death mark 1 turn before we can cast him. Calling it now. Never mind. He already cleansed. Fail. Let's call it. Already failed. But we'll go through a World Breaker. Get the explosion down. And down it goes. You got a nice blue Guild War team with Skady. It's the only blue mythic you have. Yeah, I normally run it with Merlion, Corvash, Azura, and and Skady all the way in the back. Actually, I don't know if I do it in that exact order. But yeah, I've been running her in Blue Guild War Day. Actually, I think I revamped my current Blue Guild War Day to what it currently is now. I changed it slightly, but I ended up changing it to... yeah, you can use Azura too if you wanted to. But I'm currently using Corvash, Merline, KrissTigger, Skady. Corvash for the stun and drain and true damage. Merline for the silence and impervious, so more so just the silence. KrissTigger for the summon and for its automatic mana accumulation. And Skady, of course, because Blue Storm, and that's the main thing that she's giving to you. You can also use Merline in the last slot for the impervious protection, if you specifically need it against Kraken. Though lately I've been using it more towards the front of the team, sometimes even in first slot, if the enemy team has no Kraken on it. But when it has Kraken, I normally I normally put it to the back, so we don't have to deal with them. You're almost done trading your Skady. Have you found a good PvP team with her? PvP team, no. I have not really bothered with her in PvP, as I find her to be just a little bit too slow. It's the same reason I don't really use Umberwolf in PvP. It's just too clunky with most of what it gets used with. For pure Guild War days, it normally works, but for PvP, I normally refrain from using them. There's still 4 more colors that can be added, though, so we'll see if those other 4 colors become super useful. The biggest problem with Umberwolf in PvP is basically you never cast it, so it's like you're only using 3 troops. And with Skady, she is useful to cast, but she just has such a high mana accumulation that she'll normally block you if you put her too close to the front, and that basically forces her to the last slot every time. Okay, and that should be match. And then we just throw the Dragon Soul and wipe it out. Can you trade out Corvash with anything else? I mean, KrissTigger? No, Corvash, you said. I do not believe Corvash has a replacement. Corvash is a pretty essential troop in every brown and blue Guild War Day. It's kind of one of those things that doesn't get replaced. I can go double check real quick, though. Why is it not opening? There it goes. But yeah, I don't believe Corvash has a alternative. Oops, I did the wrong search. Let me see. Nope. Maybe Behemoth, but that's completely different than what a Corvash does. Ice Golem, maybe, but that doesn't do any damage. It just gives you freeze to the enemy, which is somewhat useful. Yeah, that doesn't really leave much. That's pretty much it. It's Corvash or basically Corvash. That's it. Maybe you can get away with Behemoth or Farce Troll or a Ice Golem. Maybe even Leviathan under some circumstances. Maybe even Lady Ironbeard if you were trying to do just single targets. But for the most part, there isn't something that does what Corvash does. It's a double mana drain, stun entire enemy team, and double true damage, which no troop comes even close to doing. I think Manticore is the closest one, but it has no color relation. Doesn't even share a single color with it, so you wouldn't be able to replace it with one. Yeah, as far as Guild War troops are concerned, Gorgolfa, Corvash, and trying to think of the third. Well, definitely those two are very essential to Guild War days. Gorgolfa because it mitigates so much damage. Corvash because it has so much drain potential. And I can't think of what the third one was. I'm pretty sure there is a third one that's pretty useful. But I can't think of. I guess Queen Mab, though she's more so defend than invade. I don't think I use her for a single one of my invading teams. Though she definitely can be used for such. We don't have that much damage, do we? I might as well throw another Dragon Soul and then go for the hit. As long as he does an extra turn here, we're fine. Of course he did. Well then. Well then. That's not good. What's the backup plan then? I guess we take a red. He scions us. No! Deathmark! Why? Okay, this is over. No. Absolute no. Oh, you mean the base mythic warlock? I don't think warlock really gets used for anything in Guild Wars. I don't think for PvP and for soul farming, particularly soul farming, he's used quite a bit. But that's about it. I wouldn't really ever bother with him in PvP. I mean, in Guild Wars. In very early game, you probably could because of his boost ratio, but that's about it. He's normally used against weaker statted troops. What do I target? They're all threat. Let's just do Corvesh. And just get the explosion down and go from there. If anyone else has any other questions or team builds, let me know. What is the best soul farming team to use in PvP? Anything that has a fair Shra. And personally, I would say exactly what I'm using right now would be my personal favorite. Let's see. But yeah, it's basically the one I'm using now. You can use more budgeted versions of this as well. Like, for example, you can use Gorgolfa, Dragon Soul, Christine X, Fair Shra, which is slightly cheaper than this because it doesn't require Wardbreaker, nor would it require your hero class to be fully traded. But yeah, basically anything with one Fair Shra in PvP is the quickest soul farming for PvP. You don't ever want to put more than one Fair Shra, because the amount of time longer it would take to win relative to the amount of souls you're getting isn't worth it. Not to mention you're getting all the other resources slower too, like souls and gold and glory. I mean, not souls, but gold and glory. Are they coming out with a new kingdom? Yes, new kingdom is coming out on the 26th, 2 Fridays from now. Not next Friday, but the following Friday, 2 weeks from now. That should be when it's coming out. There was some things mentioning that it could be coming out next Friday, but I do believe it's 2 Fridays from now. Are there any good teams with Karnex? Yeah, pretty much any team that runs with Dragon Soul runs with Karnex. I just normally prefer using Dragon Soul. It's also... The biggest issue with Karnex is it's generally exclusively a first lot troop, and you need to use skull-related or attack buffing related troops to really utilize it. I don't find it to be as much of a mana generator as it is a skull poker, which is why I normally use Dragon Soul instead, because Dragon Soul is focused more on the mana generation aspect, which is more important than killing things out with skulls. As far as really good Karnex teams, I personally wouldn't really bother. And if you have a Karnex but don't have a Dragon Soul, basically just use Karnex in place of Dragon Soul in most teams. It wouldn't be exactly the same, but it still serves a similar purpose. They're both somewhat tanky troops that mana generate for your team. And in the case of Karnex, you even get Impervious, which is kind of nice. What do we do here? I want that skull so he doesn't. There we go, that worked out nicely. And then we just Dragon Soul. That worked out very nicely. And we can get a free poke on him too. We'll go throw down in Furnace, the biggest threat. And we almost got enough extra turns just to one-shot it. And now we can just throw Dragon Soul into anything else. And then Fair Shra or Wardbreaker. And down it goes. Yeah, no problem. What is the best PvP team for farming gold? That I do not know. Because there are... I think technically the quickest way to actually farm gold, surprisingly, is keep repicking on this battle until you get a good value, a good low opponent on your second battle that gives a decent amount of gold. I'm not sure if that's actually the quickest or not, but it's either that or constantly checking between these two and seeing which true trophy has the lower. Basically what you need to find is a very weak PvP battle that gives you a lot of gold, and then just keep hopping from that to that with whatever team you can do to quickly wipe it. The other possible option could be to constantly wipe 1 trophies in the casual PvP. You might need to throw just a very small amount of gold, but due to all the other bonuses, you'll be gaining more gold than you're actually throwing down in the repicks. So it might cost you a few repicks and a couple hundred gold. but you'll actually make it back in the fact that you'll get a really easy battle that dies in pretty much a matter of under a minute every single time. But as far as actual team, it would depend on what method you're using. If you're just running through, because it would depend what you're running against. If you're running against 3 trophies, you would use a different team. If you're running against 2 trophies, you would do a different team. And if you're running against 1 trophies, particularly very weak 1 trophies, you'd basically use the exact same thing you would use within Explore and other stuff related content that gets wiped really quickly. But I believe 2 trophies are the quickest possible gold. I normally don't do them as they are quite a bit easier, and we'd have almost 100% win rate against quite a few of them. There are some of them that are just as strong as the 1 trophies, which is another reason why I don't bother. But if you were to keep an eye on them, you can get some really easy 2 trophies for about as much gold as you would get for a 3 trophy battle. Yeah, that's something I never really bothered getting too heavy into, the actual gold rates for everything, because it can vary quite a bit depending on so many factors that you can't really control. But as long as you're getting a couple 100,000 gold per hour, at least 200,000 gold per hour, you should be fine. Anything above that rate, or I should say anything above a rate of 1 win every 2 minutes is perfectly fine. And if you're doing 2 trophy or 1 trophy, you'd want that rate to be definitely every 1 minute or less. What to do here? We'll go take the purple. As far as actual teams, though, you basically just use whatever is meta at the time. Thank you, elites. Just wondering, how many will it cost to fully upgrade all kingdoms? How many what? How many souls? How many what? Or how much? As far as spending actual money, if that's what you're referring to, it is really unrealistic to try to spend money to max out this game. Generally, money in Gems of War is only used to reduce your grinding time. It is not really something that you can just buy and then automatically have everything. The amount of money you would need to throw at this game to do so is probably above $10,000 to try to do that. But realistically, what you do is just spend like about 100 or 200 on things like Death Knight armor and the EXP packs and stuff like that, just to speed it along. It's not really something that you can just instantly get. But as far as how many resources you need for everything, that would take me a while to actually calculate everything out. I know that on, if you go to Gems of War database and you go set up your account to that, dowgb.com, if you go over to that and set up your account, it'll tell you the total amount of souls and the total amount of trait stones you need to be able to max out every troop in the game. That doesn't accommodate for things like Soul Forge and such, but as far as just maxing out every troop, it has that. As far as the gold cost is actually ridiculously cheap in this game, surprisingly. Mainly because you invest most of your gold into your guild. The only gold that you really have to ever spend in this game is however many kingdoms there is times however much the cost is to max them out. I think it's 1,500 if I'm not mistaken. Why did I say 1,500? I meant 150,000, somewhere around there. I forget the exact value, but it's basically that times 30, approximately, somewhere around that general ballpark. And that's all the gold you really ever need to spend. You could spend additional on things like gold keys and such too. Oh, that's not gold keys. I have no clue why they have glory first and then gold, but gold keys too. But you mainly just spend it all on guild, and it just makes the biggest gold sink for the game. It's not really something you have to spend it on though. Yeah, that'd be a really weird number to try to calculate out. The only thing that you could really calculate out is the total number of gold that you would need for all the kingdoms, the total amount of souls you would need for all troops, and the total amount of trait stones. The souls and trait stones of which we already know, though I do not know it off the top of my head. When they rework the leveling, Tacet's girlfriend is going to bump up to level 2,500 something, probably. Did they actually say that they're going to be reworking leveling? They never actually stated if they will or will not, from what I have heard. Though I haven't been watching as many of Salty's streams as of recently, so maybe she may have mentioned it, and I do not know. What do we do here? Do I take the skull? I want the purple a lot more. The only problem is it gives it brown. Oh, we still got the purple. Unfortunately, we didn't surge. That would have been annoying if I took it the other way and didn't surge. Okay, he has the Death of Us. Let me hope for an extra turn, I guess. There we go, good. Now we just need an extra turn into a Fair Shra. Okay, good. Well, that worked out pretty nicely. I gave him a bunch of purple, but we got the famine killed, and that's the main thing that matters in that battle. No, Tacet's girlfriend is not actually Tacet's girlfriend. That's just his name he trolls us with. He ended up doing that pretty much the first week or two after we moved to the YouTube. When we moved, because we used to stream on Twitch. But once we moved over to YouTube, because YouTube has the ability to change your name basically at whim to whatever you want, he ended up changing it to Tacet's girlfriend, and he hasn't switched it since. What do we move here? We'll go take the purple. Good morning, Manifesto. Welcome. Do you get an event key every level after 1000? Yes, you get 100 glory and 1 event key every level after level 1000. Though do keep in mind you start leveling slower after level 1000. So it might seem like a lot of resources at first. Like when you first hit 1000, you're going to be getting a lot of glory and a lot of event keys for free. But once you start hitting closer to level 1100, it starts to slug down quite a bit. Because every battle post 1000 takes about 1 battle more in order to get the next level approximately. So by level 1100, you have to do about 100 more battles per level to be able to get a level. So it starts getting slower and slower and slower until it just becomes glacially slow. Like at level 2000, you would need to do about 1000 more battles per level to gain a level. Which obviously is a lot in itself. I don't even know if I play 1000 battles a week. Probably not. I'll go throw that down. What day is the new kingdom coming out? 2 Fridays from now. Not next Friday, but the following Friday. That's currently what we know. It could be coming sooner, it could be coming later. But based on what we currently know, 2 Fridays from now is 2 weeks from now exactly. On the 26th is when the new kingdom is coming out. And with it, we should be getting 2 new legends among many other fun troops. It's also going to be bringing in basically the Fairy Fire mechanic. Technically, Fairy Fire already exists in the game as of the most recent patch, but the only thing that realistically can use it at the moment is oh, what's it called? The Dragonette. Anything with a random stats effect right now can place it, but there is currently 0 troops with a 100% chance of placing Fairy Fire. And that won't be added until, or troops that have a 100% chance of placing it will not be added until next kingdom. And some of them should be very, very strong. One of them even has the capability of Fairy Firing the entire enemy team. Oh, also, I didn't even say what Fairy Fire does. Fairy Fire is a stats effect, basically like Hunter's Mark, except better, even though it's worse, if that makes any sense. But it does a 50% increase to spell damage for that troop. So, let's say this Infernus was inflicted with Fairy Fire. Actually, that's a bad example because anything with immune to fire... never mind, he doesn't. But yeah, immune to burning now has immune to Fairy Fire as well. But let's say this guy was Fairy Fired, and we hit him with a Fair Shra. This Fair Shra will do to him 71 damage. If it was Fairy Fired, it would do 50% more, so it would do 35 more, meaning it would do 106 damage approximately. If he was Fairy Fired, which would still be 1 damage off from killing him. Fail. But I'm still going for it because we have the extra turn. You know what? I probably should have gone for Christine X actually there. But oh well, too late. Go throw that down. And do this into... You know what? Let me kill that now. That's what I should have done in the first place. And Dragon Soul. 2 damage off. And down it goes. Yeah, that 42 AoE we would have done if they were Fairy Fired would have done 63 damage to everything, which just in itself is so amazing. Basically, every 2 casts you do, you get 1 free cast against the enemy. Fairy Fire is Tacet's pyro nickname. Gosh. What do we even move here? I guess we go brown. I like how I use World Breaker here. I mean, not World Breaker. I use Mountain Crusher. Yeah, I almost never even bother with it. One of the problems with that is Scion, but the other issue with it is since I don't put a +1 on it, normally if you're using this weapon, you'd put a +1 on it. But because we're using Dragon Soul, I focus everything on Dragon Soul instead, so I don't have a +1. For example, if we had a +1, we'd have full mana right now. We took 2 browns, and we would have gotten a +1 on both of them, leading to 11 mana, which is why you always put a +1 on it. 7, anything with a 7, 11, or 13 mana cost, sometimes 15 as well, but 7 and 11 are the 2 most important ones. You generally need to always put a +1 on your team to give to them. It's just so much helpful, because with a +1 on the 7, one single surge gets you to full mana, and it will guarantee that 2 pairs will automatically get you to full. And with a 11 mana cost, as long as one of your 2 takes is a surge, meaning if you have 50% or higher surge chance, then you should pretty much always do it. But if one of your 2 manas that you end up accumulating ends up surging, you would automatically get yourself to full mana. Otherwise, it would take a 3rd turn, possibly even a 4th if none of them were to surge. But normally it would take 1 whole additional turn in both cases, where you can just skip the entire turn just from having a +1 on them. Okay, goblins, can you stop being so annoying? There we go. Let's go and... I want to aim at Grapple Pot. Oh, never mind. I was going to say I'll go aim for this instead, but I forgot. It has Stealthy. The amount of times I forget that troop has Stealthy is amazing. Normally I don't forget it as much on things like Spirit Fox and such, but on that troop for whatever reason, I always forget that it has Stealthy. Well then, we could actually lose this if we're not careful. Let's see. Like that. There we go, World Breaker. Wow. Yeah, we could actually lose. What's it take? What's it take? Oh, hello, blues. That doesn't really help us, but at least we get it out the way. And we'll go take our mana. And as long as it doesn't kill us right now, good. And down it goes. That was a lot closer than it needed to be. Wow. Hello, Daniel. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I've been getting absolutely decimated by 4x goblins lately. I don't know why all of a sudden I've been losing to them. They're normally not too bad. I guess having a famine would be quite helpful against them. Might need to start throwing famines at them. That or start throwing Kraken Team at them. That works normally pretty well as well. Particularly if you're using something like a Goblin King last slot, because you get to steal all of his HP for yourself. Goblin King's final trait is so pitiful. Basically, Grapple Pot does his final trait if you get a single extra turn, and then every extra turn it does beyond that is just extra value compared to the Goblin King. Ow, 104 damage. It didn't get damaged yet. He's actually going to kill me off an explosion. I haven't seen the AI do that for a while. Normally it's not smart enough to do it in that order. So regardless, I would have died to burn the following turn. So I guess it didn't really matter. What to do here? I need a Ferris Raw something. Probably the Infernus. And let's just throw the explosion. Keep getting our cast down. Looks like we should be fine. Never mind, I lied. No, we should still be fine. We're entangled. Oh, never mind, we're not entangled. I can just go Skull Poke and do Dragon Soul into Ferris Raw. If he'd stop poking me. If he'd stop poking me, 1 HP, that's all we need though. Wow, we cleansed Burning at the perfect time right there. And Ferris Raw to kill. Yeah, Goblin or Devour spam against Goblins are pretty easy because they have a lot of HP, so you get to steal all their HP when you do so. And none of them have immune to Devour. I don't think there's a single Goblin with immune to Devour. What's to take here? We'll take the reds. And now we take another red. And another red. And we're good to go. Throw down Dragon Soul. You always use Queen Mab against goblins? Yes, of course. That also works pretty well for the freeze. Dragon Soul. When will they be releasing the Dolphin Troop to merge all enemies? The Dolphin Troop. I have not actually looked into the Dolphin Troop. Wait, submerge all enemies? Don't you mean submerge all allies? That'd be weird to submerge all enemies. Let's see. What, let's see. You have a question. What is your question? I shall answer it. Oh, saw your feed on the low-level Devour. Made an alt on it and had other cards. Gorgolfa, Sandshark, Azura, Kraken. Gord's Banner. Have any other suggestions? That sounds about right. Except maybe with the banner, I'd probably go a blue-purple. Just to go all in Azura. But other than that, yeah, that pretty much seems fine. I'd rather go either all in Azura or all in Gorgolfa with that team. I don't think mix matching the banner is going to help much. I always feel so weird when I do a +1/+1. Like, let's say I was using a, well, just in that case, like a brown, yellow, and a blue, purple. Doing a +1 to both of them, where both of them are only getting 1, just feels so clunky to me, compared to just putting both of them onto 1. I don't know, it just works so much better, because you can get that one up, and then the other one's just going to automatically get its ability up. When you put a +1 split like that, you, more often than not, are going to be putting a little bit of mana into both of them. And generally with explosion teams, you want to just get one of them up as quickly as possible, and then that exploder gets everything else on your team to full mana. So you don't need to worry about having a +1 on 2 different separate troops. You just put it all onto 1, get that one as quickly as possible, and then go from there. What do we do here? I guess we'll just take the yellow. Trying to get this mana. Looks like we got it. Which way do we take it? Do we even have a drop? Trying to find the safest way. I think that one's the safest. Nope. He still manages to get an extra turn. Actually, in that case, he got a double extra turn. Wow. We'll take the red. We did not surge it. That is really bad. Well, we'll take the red and hopefully go from there. He'll skull poke us. Get the Dragon Soul, hopefully into something useful. No, it is not. And he gets Famine. That is very dire. Because whatever he touches dies. And there it goes. Luckily he had Hero, though. Out of everything he could have possibly hit, I think that's the least consequential. I can't take that red, I mean that purple, because he'll skull us. I also can't take that green for the same reason. Oh, and as I give him the extra turns green. Well, it looks like I still gave him the skull after all then. Fail. Let's see. Well, I have to take that because I can't take Dragon Soul mana while there's a skull on the board when he's in first slot. And Wisp. That can actually kill us if it hits the 1. Take the brown to purple. And it doesn't. Good. But he has Scion again, so that's pretty much matched for us. No! Yeah, there's not much I could do to that. Oh, that reminds me. I need to go hand out a redeem code. I almost forgot we have them again. It's been ages. Well, actually, we gave one out on Monday, but other than that, it's been ages since we gave one out on a Friday day. Friday day. Friday and Saturday. Let's just actually end on a win, though, before we go give out one of the redeem codes. We'll have 2. We give out 2 every Friday and Saturday, as we always do on the morning streams. And the only other time we give it out is normally on Monday for the event video thingy. Or not for the actual event video, but for the stream during the night. He's using standard Elamagrim spam. Too bad we don't have a cleanse. That's actually pretty good against this. Cleanse and the removal of purple are the 2 biggest things. As I say removal of purple, here, let's go create more purple into the board. It doesn't matter though, because we just kill him out. So down it goes. Also, he's helping us with a Firestorm. Oh wait, no he's not. Never mind, he hasn't gotten a kill yet. Normally he'd be helping us with a Firestorm. If he kills us at all, he helps us. There we go, he just helped us. Because now we get a Firestorm that helps us get extra turns, like that. And now we just win off of loop. As you can see, we got extra turn twice off of reds. I don't know by how much, but there is a higher chance of gaining an extra turn if there's a storm going. because you end up getting the... there's a higher chance of that color clumping onto the board. I believe the chance is somewhere around 30% if there is no storm, and around 40-ish if there is a storm. Though I do not know 100% for sure what the math is on that, because I know it's a really weird formula. I think Leah ended up calculating out once, but I forget what her results were. But I think it was somewhere around there. 30% for no storm and 40%-ish with a storm. Somewhere around there. Let's see. You beat your defend team with Queen OP. And you're level 250. Very nice. One thing that I like destroying higher levels with, which I do on my other account, is Tesla. Double Dwarven Gate Valkyrie Tesla. Such a basic team with all low rarities except for Tesla. But one thing that makes it decent is it scales up based on enemy armor as well as allied armor. But it basically scales up to your enemy stats. So even if you're up against something ridiculously strong, you still scale up. And you use the Dwarven Gates in order to negate out damage. So you take no damage while also doing more damage to the enemy. So it works out very nicely. Anyways, let me go give out the redeem code. Oh wait, was there another question I didn't see? Did someone mention a question that I completely overlooked? Let me know if I did. Oh, can we give a gift to someone you want to buy the Dragon Soul for a friend? Unfortunately, there is no way currently to give gifts within the game. There's no way to trade or give gifts or anything of the such. They said that they may eventually add some kind of system for this, but it wasn't really on their priority list, and I don't believe they will be doing so within the next couple patches. Not 100% certain on that, but it has been suggested a couple times. It just hasn't been something that they have implemented as of yet. But yes, you cannot gift anything. The closest thing you could possibly do to gifting someone to someone, or something to someone, is pumping a bunch of gold into a guild, and then that gives it to literally everyone in the guild, instead of just that one person. But yeah, there's no way to give specifically one person anything. The only ways that you can even partially do that is through getting seals for your guild, contributing gold to your guild, and specifically buying one of the pack things, which gives it to everyone, but mainly yourself. So yeah, there's really no way of doing that, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, they don't want real-world trading at all. That, of course, is a really big problem that happens with a lot of games. Anyways, let me go do the redeem code, and I'll go answer that other question that was just mentioned. Let me go find where on earth they're all buried at. They're somewhere's buried in these. Let me see. Messages, recent messages, January redeem codes, and what's our next one? We'll just go down the line. Most of these are pretty random ones. For once, Salty did not give all of the weird phrased ones. There are a couple of them in here, but there's not that many. Okay, let's go do this one. And oops, I don't have any of the tabs open for this. Let me go get game code open. Let me go put that in right there. And let me go put this below me, copy into chat, and we'll be good to go. But yeah, for any of you on PC and mobile, you can go claim this redeem code, and it will give you a bunch of free resources. It does not work on console versions, unfortunately. You use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Let me go center that a bit. There we go. Close enough. And put that right there. Put that into chat with the area to use it in. Good morning, Barang. Welcome. Also, Malifesto, I did see your thing. I'll get to that in 1 second. But yeah, you find your invite code underneath the settings right over there. Boom, whatever your game says there. And you just put that into the website, and it'll give you the normal reward as always. Let me go put in all my stuff and see if it works. Should. I'm not a robot. Click redeem, and success. And that gives the normal reward of 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. See what we get from the 1 key. What do we get? We get ourselves a wayfinder. Useless. This actually wasn't that bad when it first came out, even though it hasn't changed at all since then. But when it first came out, skull meta was everywhere, so being able to half something's attack was actually somewhat decent. These days, you don't really need it at all, though. Anyways, let's go back into PvP. Let me go see what that one question was, and go from there. And we'll have another redeem code later in the stream as well. Let me see. Best approach for dwarf teams. You have used Dwarven Gate, Scion, Valkyrie, Tesla to win. You've also used Gorgulfa, Azura, Cockatrice, and Scion. What's your strategy? As far as using it in PvP, I have not found dwarves to be a nuisance at all in PvP. The only time I ever find them to be a nuisance is on Red Guild War Day. Mainly because this guy does triple damage to them. But for normal PvP, I just throw whatever normal team I throw at them. There really isn't any special way to really take them out, except maybe removing all of their brown. Having a way to remove brown or convert the brown into some other color that isn't brown is quite convenient. Other than that, having a quick way to lower this thing's armor is pretty nice, because if you don't, it's going to hit triple damage to you pretty much immediately, which is about to do right now, actually. But we should have enough durability that we don't actually die to it, and we don't. But in Guild Wars, it would normally one-shot. In PvP, it doesn't. Yeah, in PvP, I don't really find them to be too big. You just need that convert out the browns just to make sure the Apothecary doesn't do anything. And it will also help disable the High Forge. And just make sure you have a quick way to disable that down to lower armor than what you have. And then you're pretty much good to go. So we kill that out. Get the Dragon Soul down. Also, make sure you have some kind of disable for the High Forge, just so it doesn't constantly keep summoning. Either a single target damage to kill it with, or a silence, or mana drain, or something. Oh, why did I do that one? I should have done the other one. That was a fail. It already just won the battle. And there we go. Dwarves creep you out. You try not to look at them. The only one that looks a little bit weird is the Apothecary, probably because the female has the beard. There was actually a lot of complaints about that when she first came out, which is why Lord Ironbeard actually doesn't have a beard, because everyone was like, "Hey, why does Apothecary have a beard?" Blah blah blah. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff mentioned with that when it first came out. It's the whole reason why Lady Ironbeard has no beard. I don't think she has a beard. I'm saying that as if she doesn't have a beard, but she might actually have a beard, and I didn't even realize. I think it's a pretty small one compared to Apothecary, though, if she does have one. I don't think she does, though. Let me go double check. I'm saying it as if I know for sure. Yeah, I don't even remember her visual. It's not like I memorized her visuals. Every detail. Actually, there's some visuals on them that are out of sight as well. Like, Rowan has a skull on her thing, though it's never actually seen because you never see her lower waist. Let me see. Lord Ironbeard. Oops. Lord or Lady Ironbeard, I mean. Yeah, she has no beard. She has those little locks that for a second I thought was a beard. But yeah. Yeah, she has no beard. Because everyone didn't like it when Apothecary got one. Or not everyone, but some people were very vocal about it. I'll go move that over. Take the red. And I'll go take the skull. Go for Dragon Soul. And should be good to go from here. Got everything we need. Got our stats. And we don't have a fair Shroud, but we could easily go reline into that. If anyone still has any questions, team builds you want me to do anything of the such, feel free to leave them in chat. We'll go over them all. And then just World Record down. Grandpa Pot is creepy. Most of the goblins do look pretty creepy. Though that's what goblins are supposed to look like. Oh, Yellow Guild War Day on Xbox tomorrow. Is your team good? Gorgulfa, Famine, and Furnace Scorpius. Yeah, sounds perfectly fine. I used to use something very similar to that. Also, Gorgulfa Famine is what I currently use as well, or a variant of it. Also, thank you, Blue, for the subscribe. Much appreciated. Yeah, Gorgulfa Famine is pretty nice to have as a combo. It's basically like using a Gorgulfa Corvash, except you get to drain everything instead of just a single, or instead of a double target. The only real issue with him, or not really an issue, is that all of his damage is concentrated, whereas a Corvash gets to hit 2 things instead of just 1. But for Yellow Guild War Day, you wouldn't even be able to use the other one, so yeah, that ends up working out. Yeah, I believe I use something pretty similar to that right now. I use the something Moloch. Why do I not remember what the other one was? Oh yeah, Amnesia, because I used that for the 4 times Daemons to get the extra stats. Also, this is probably one of the few teams I actually use that has a bonus on it. It gains 2 attack and 1 magic on everything for having 4 Daemons. Very rarely will I build teams that are fully within a certain troop typing, particularly when it's from a specific troop type instead of a kingdom type. Because with troop types, you can get countered out very easily if something has, for example, let's say the enemy's running a Desdemona, which not only gets the extra turn on all of us, it also gets to do double damage to them all because they're Daemons. So yeah, it can backfire quite heavily. It's actually why quite a few people set Desdemona on their defend team, because some people do run this combo, or at minimum run the Gorgoltha Famine combo. So do watch out for that. Desdemona, particularly if the AI targets it correctly, it can double shot Famine. I think in some cases, if it gets slight magic buff, like if they're using a Periton or something, it can sometimes one-shot Famine, if I'm not mistaken, which is obviously not good. You did not want it getting one-shotted. That's like the core of the team, is constantly spamming Famine over and over again. Can I try a Guard's Avatar team? Sure, I think I actually have 2 set up. Guard's Avatar used to be my favorite mythic in the game. These days, I think that is slightly less so, though it's still quite a fun one to use. Personally, I prefer Worldbreaker a lot more over it these days, but still pretty decent to have. I would highly suggest, if you had to choose between one or the other, to go with Worldbreaker, though. Worldbreaker is used in a lot more instances than a Guard's Avatar. The biggest purpose that Guard's Avatar has these days is to act as a Daemon counter. So if Daemons ever become really powerful again in any way, shape, or form, just throw a Guard's Avatar at it and you'll be good to go. But for all other purposes, Worldbreaker is generally better. The only other instance that might be somewhat better for a Guard's Avatar, which is also goes with the Daemon thing, is against a Famine, because Guard's Avatar has a lower mana cost than a Worldbreaker. Not only that, but he gets to silence it, which is pretty convenient. Okay, let me go do a Worldbreaker team. I should have 2 saved, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go do the one I normally prefer. It's just a simple Alchemist Hellcat loop. He does have a Mercy, which is normally annoying for loop teams, but this team does have Cleanse, so it should be fine. It's this one. I actually have 2 of them saved, back from when I used to use it for ages, and I still haven't bothered moving it. But yeah, Mercy, Alchemist, Hellcat, Guard's Avatar is normally my go-to one. The other reason I stopped using this too, of course, is Krakens got pretty popular for several months now, and still are pretty popular. So trying to use this team against that is not really a good idea. Oops, I should have taken that so I got the extra turn. I actually took it in a way where it didn't get the extra turn. But oh well. Double check for the Mercy, see if we have an Alchemist. Throw the Alchemist, which will hopefully give us our Mercy. Take all the extra turns. That's the only other slight bad thing about this team. It gains too many extra turns sometimes, and it makes the battle go unneedily long when you could have already won, but you have to keep taking extra turns, because unlike a Worldbreaker, Worldbreaker has board control, a Guard's Avatar does not, so you need to make sure you remove every extra turn from the board before casting, whereas with a Worldbreaker or Dragon Soul or other stuff, you don't need to clear the board. You can just go and just cast in and be on your way. Ideally, you want to double cast with this team if you can, though triple casting isn't horrible. Just because you get mana up so quickly that triple cast doesn't really take too much longer to actually implement. And down it goes. Yeah, that's pretty much Guard's Avatar in a nutshell. And you run the general premise against everything. There isn't much that loses too. Full AoE physical damage is about one of the more annoying things, which is actually what we're up against right now. The main reason being is that everything lowers the Guard's Avatar damage. And of course, with a Guard's Avatar, the whole premise is to keep him with as much armor as possible. Also, the particular team I'm using right now, you would most likely want to have Guard's Avatar fully traded, because it's focused on looping, and looping gives him 4 armor every single time you cast. And you would not be getting that extra armor if you weren't, or if you didn't have that trade on him. And throw that down. Throw the guard again, and that's wipe. And that's what he should normally do, a double cast into the wind, and then you just keep going. Pretty quick. Though it does get slowed down a lot if it ever gets damaged. Yeah, it's pretty standard Alchemist Hellcat loop into just one really big, heavy hitting damage source. You can even use Worldbreaker there. I was trying that at one point. Didn't seem excessively good, but it does work. You can literally just replace that with World Breaker and be on your way, and just kill everything that way. So we'll go get an Alchemist here. Very few yellows though because of Spirit Fox. Probably not the best idea to try running this team against a Spirit Fox, that is for sure. Hopefully we can get enough board clear though. We'll do this on brown. It gives us Alchemist. The only problem with that though is what do we cast it on? There is 0 yellows on the board. Now there is 1, but obviously that 1 doesn't have alignment. And there we go. Well, we actually managed to get alignment out of that now. How convenient. I guess we throw a guard down. That should be enough to kill. And we should be good from there. Oh, it did not kill. Though he also didn't do his ability, so I guess that works out. Fail. Well, at least that could have gone worse. It definitely could have gone worse. Ooh. I did not want to get rid of red. But I have to. Oh, it's enough mana. That's fine. 1 HP. Good job. And Hellcat for the win. And down it goes. Yeah, that's basically Guard's avatar. There's another one too if you don't have it fully traded. There's let me go do it on Revenge. There's this team. The Honor, Apothecary, Guard, and Corvash. This is one of the few teams, actually I think this is the only team I ever use that utilizes the fact that Honor has a boost ratio to stun. It's not something that really comes into play almost ever. But yes, every single stun on the enemy team does indeed boost ratio him. And since Corvash can easily stun the entire enemy team just by having it on your team, it's pretty convenient to synergize. Of course, they both use the same brown color, so it can be somewhat annoying using them both together sometimes. But this team has enough going for it that you can easily put that on your team and not really be disabled at all. So we just do this, keep spamming into blue, and be on our way from there. And basically with this, we either go for a 1-shot or a 2-shot Guard's avatar, depending on which one we feel like going for. In this case, it looks like we're probably going for a 1-shot. Oops, we missed. Okay, maybe we're going for 2-shot. Also, she doesn't get to do any damage to us, or at least she doesn't get the boost ratio because she doesn't have the we have so high of an armor that she doesn't get to do anything because we boosted up the entire time. I'll go take green. Hey, that's one way to go counter out goblins. Just go get an Honor to loop forever, and then she'll never do extra damage to you, or at least not the triple. I mean, why did I say goblins? I meant dwarves. Well, let's go poke this again. And this will not be match, or now it might be with a skull poke. And we'll throw the guard, and there we go. Yeah, that's the other alternative if he's not traded, or traded. It works either way. It takes a little bit longer normally, but gets the job done. Where is the +5 glory? Yeah, I guess we'll throw this at it. He's using all fire bombs, so I figured we might as well go for a little bit of glory. Why not? Haven't really been farming specifically the glory with the new guy. But yeah, don't forget, you do get 5 glory for using him this week. Definitely highly advise just shoving him into a random team to get it. I'm a little bit more focused on souls right now than I am on glory. But still, definitely a good idea to go and get it. I'm pretty sure more players are concerned about souls at the moment than glory, so definitely consider using him this week. Any week that you get +5 glory for PvP just from using a single troop in your team. Either that or whenever it says +5 glory or 2 times straight stones. Either or. Whenever it says that for when the requirement is only to use 1 troop within PvP, those you should utilize to the fullest extent you possibly can. Hey, we ended up getting the arcane straight stone. Nice. Too bad it's not 2 times arcane straight stone week. But yeah, normally you want to utilize that as much as you possibly can, particularly in early game. Because that's the easiest way to farm resources. Same as gold too. Really for every single one of them except for souls is worth doing. Because you can get the quickest possible gold, the quickest possible glory, and the quickest possible trait stone farming by doing that. There's no way to farm any of those 3 resources quicker than if there is a single troop that can get the +5 bonus, or not the +5 bonus, or whatever the bonus is for them, respectively, on the given week. The only thing that can be outdone is souls, because souls, there's just so many heavy ways to accumulate it, with Fair Shra, or even just 3 warlocks with a Valkyrie, or any other combination of farming with like a Dragon Soul or something. Why do people use 4 times fire bombs? To deliberately lose. it is currently more profitable to lose PvP than it is to win it. That's not the case for Guild Wars, but for the case of normal PvP, as it's currently set up, and how it's been set up basically the entirety of the game, it is, for whatever reason, more profitable to lose than win. Why that is, I have no clue. It is the weirdest design decision that this game has ever made, and it has basically been like that since day one, for the most part. And they've tweaked it several times, but every single time it has still been just as broken, if not more broken, than in previous states. The main reason for this is when you lose, you get more revenge battles because you have more people who you can revenge against. But the interesting thing about revenge battles is not only do they give you 3 additional glory, but they also give you 2 times as much gold. The 2 times gold gain is invisible, but if you check your gold, you won't be able to notice it if you look at the gold that you get at the end of the battle. But if you notice your total gold before and after a battle, you do indeed get 2 times as much gold from a revenge than you do from a normal battle. This doesn't apply to rivals, it only applies to revenge battles. And revenges only occur once as a result of someone beating you in defense. So basically what people do is just constantly, deliberately keep losing their PvP defense so that they can just keep stacking revenges. And then when they go and play normally in PvP, they will end up getting a lot more revenge battles, which will result in more resources. If you don't play that much, it technically is better to win in PvP, but if you play for a couple hours a day, it is more profitable to lose every single one of your defense than it is to win it. Which is a really odd design, but that is the case. What on earth is it doing? Okay, let's go throw the Dragon Soul and throw that into a World Breaker. Also, anyone just getting here, make sure to use the redeem code below for some free resources. We'll have another one later on during the stream as well, in the next hour or so. You just found Doomclaw. Any good teams with him? Unfortunately, no. Basically, I would say maybe a Green Seer Giant Spider combo just to mana generate into it with one other troop. The biggest problem with Doomclaw is it's too random. It is way too random to be useful for anything. It's 24 mana cost, which is pretty high. Deals damage to an enemy. It does have a pretty nice boost ratio, that I do say. But even then, that's only like, what, 71 damage? I guess maybe not that huge. But the whole reason it's used is for the double devour. It has 2 individual devour chances. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the only thing in the game that actually has the chance to multi-devour enemies, which is interesting. But yeah, it has a double devour. They're both only a 25% chance, so each of them are rolled individually. So you could either get 0 of them, or 1 of them, or both of them triggering, since they both trigger individual 25%. And yeah, the only thing it's really used for is enraging your allies and trying to get those devour randoms. There isn't really much you can use it with. I guess you can use it on some skull spam teams. You can use it with something like a first slot that's good at doing skulls, with a something to spam skulls, followed by a courage, followed by a Doomclaw, something like that. The skull spam these days is pretty weak relative to just cast spam, and this is going to be even more so next patch, or not next patch, but next kingdom in 2 weeks, because they're adding Fairy Fire, and casting is already excessively good, and they're going to be buffing it even more indirectly with the addition of the new kingdom, because there's going to be a bunch of troops that allow you to do even more cast damage. And with that being said, and with the fact that there's not as many or not as many viable situations where you can try going with skull spam, everyone's just going to go even more towards cast spamming, so you don't really need to bother with the whole enrage and everything like that. It's kind of just a waste these days to really even bother using in your team. The only times it's really particularly good against is, let's say, a Gorgoltha, as weird as that may seem, because of course with enrage you get to hit by all of the traits that they have. So even though it has 75% skull reduction, your skulls will still hit through the 75% skull reduction as if it doesn't have any. I think we lost this one. Pretty sure. He's just getting too much drain on us. That annoying moment when famine just constantly drains you. It happens though. Also, hello, Life is for Gaming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, where to move, where to move. I want to take this. but it serves almost no purpose, but I'm still going for it. It serves no purpose. Let's go for it. Okay, well, we'll go take ourselves a red. Go from there. Take the purple. Get a Dragon Soul going. He'll just explode some. He'll get the Infernus most likely. Nothing I could do to really stop that. Luckily, this guy has no mana drain, so we're good for in that regard. So we don't need to worry about that annoyance. He somehow did not get an extra turn in any of that mess. He does have a Dawnbreaker, though, which I cannot stop. Ow, and it hit us pretty hard. Well, we need a red or purple. Neither are available, though. So we'll do that. Get a World Breaker. Oh. Wow, he did a lot of damage very quick. Come on, Dragon Soul, you got this. Go win solo now. He's gonna die to Infernus next turn. Rip. Double lose. Let's go for a triple now. It shouldn't happen. Okay, let's try this again. Take purple, go. Take the red. Take the... Oh, you know what? I probably should have taken that in 2 individual extra turns, so we would have gotten the double bonus. I'll move that over. Get a Dragon Soul. And get another Dragon Soul. Double check anything on the board. Looks good. And then just throw a full explosion into anything else that we have laying around. Hello, Pablo. Welcome. Is there a quick 1-trophy farming team? Yes. Basically the same things you would run in Explore. I normally run it with just the Rowan Sunbird combo, normally. You can also run the Forest Guardian variant if you wanted to, where you use Sunbird, Forest Guardian, and double Firebomb, or even double Sunbird, Forest Guardian, or some other similar variant. But yeah, 1 trophies. Just repick into something really weak. Throw basically any of the normal quick teams at it, and you're pretty much good to go. Come on, weak teams. Where are you? I could have just done the Firebomb team. That would have also been weak, like this one. But I'm trying to find the one that can actually wipe. Okay, this one's a bit stronger. We should still be able to apply the same method. But yeah, you use the same thing you just used in Explore. Every team that works in Explore pretty much works on 1 trophy, with very few exceptions. And by Explore teams, I mean just against weak enemy teams. Because, of course, Explore teams are also quest teams. They're 1-trophy teams. They work for a lot of stuff. They work for challenges. I just always call them Explore because generally Explore is the main thing that they get used for the most part, for farming trait stones. Well, let me take that just in case. I think that's enough damage, but better to be safe. And there we go. Yeah, basically just that. And you just keep throwing out 1 trophies. And one other thing that you can do if you want to is replace one of these fire bombs with a whatever the event troop is. So we'd be getting the +5 extra glory every single time. If there happens to be one, of course. On weeks that there isn't any, you wouldn't put one there. But we can go switch that out. And it would go a little bit slower, but we would have the +5 extra glory or whatever the bonus is for the week. So we could just replace that in. Because him just being on the team is all we need for it to trigger. Let me find one slightly weaker than that. There we go. Oh no, it's the really good team, the double Dwarven Gate Valkyrie Tesla. But yeah, let me go put in the Dwarven Hunter, and then we just automatically get 5 glory with it. Dwarven Hunter, there we go. And should be good to go. That's pretty much all we need. Just throw the firebomb in, get our ability up, and just cruise from there. How do we take this? Move that. It gives us Rowan, throw to Rowan, throw to Sunbird. Wow, he has a lot of durability on those things. And down it goes. And of course, at the end of the battle, as you can see here, we'll get the extra 5 glory right there. So we get 8 glory instead of the 3 that we normally would have gotten. But yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do. And other very similar teams. Doesn't specifically need to be this, though this is pretty cheap. Rowan you get for free from Forest of Thorns after you've completed the quest line. Sunbird's an ultra rare. Firebomb's a common, though it's a common that needs to be fully traded, but really cheap. And then you just use a second Firebomb or whatever the event troop is. Either or would both work. And that's match. So yeah, that's basically what you do. And you just farm a lot of resources that way if you want to do it that way. Normally I don't do that for streams. Sometimes off stream I'll be doing that quite a bit. Ooh, 1,166 or 3,166. Normally off stream I'd be doing something like this quite a bit, but for when I'm actually doing the streams I don't normally bother. Also, I didn't notice that his stats, the stats on the loading screen show based on what yours currently is, not based on what your enemy's is. I never noticed that. Yeah, I normally try not to farm 1 trophies when I'm doing streams, just because it's normally pretty redundant as far as content. It's just the same thing over and over again, throwing it against it. They're really, really ridiculously easy to kill out. I go switch this out just so I don't have a weird thing there, in case I forget to later, like when we do dungeons. I go put the firebomb back in there. I can't wait till the new kingdom comes out. Not just for the new stuff, but I want a mythic firebomb. I technically could get one right now, but I would have to waste all the resources I currently have, which is why I've been withholding all my gold keys. That's all being saved for the new kingdom coming in 2 weeks. There's only 1 common coming with it, but I still need to get that 1 common to mythic. I still don't believe we know what the kingdom stat is for the new kingdom. Based on what the effect is on the kingdom, I would assume it's magic. But we do not know for sure if it will or will not be magic or something else. Though I really hope it is magic. More magic is always wonderful. It would make the most sense because it's the kingdom that has fairy fire in it, and fairy fire basically makes your magic do more damage. It would make perfect sense that would be magic based. What do we do here? I can't believe the Corvash got such a useful drain already. I think I might need to switch my banner to a +1 brown. I think that might be the biggest issue with what we are doing with this team. Because normally when I use the Gorgolfa variant, I would throw it with a brown-yellow to get the Gorgolfa quickly. But I feel like we kind of needed the same thing here again. It's nice having the Dragon Soul get up quicker, but we don't have a double +2. We only have the one on the purple, but we don't have it on the red. Okay, let me go get this up. He's gonna get the double kill right there. How much I can do about that unless he does something weird. Nope. Okay, we'll throw that down. How much damage does he actually do? 42 damage. That is quite a bit of damage. Take that down. Throw this into it. We don't have alignment, so we'll just do that into a skull poke. And should be good to go from there. Throw that into 1, and 1 skull will kill it. Or another fair straw works as well, and down it goes. It's your first time seeing you live. Glad you could make it, Pip. Let's see. Been having to watch the stream the day after since you're pretty late in the PM. Well, glad you could join us. If you have any questions or team builds you want me to mess around with or anything, feel free to leave them all in chat, and we'll definitely make sure to go over them. Let's see. What on earth is that question, Manson? That is a really, 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 really weird question that I do not know how to answer. The answer is no, though. Let's see. We'll go take the red to get the purple. Take the other purple. Actually, I don't even like mustard. I don't know why. I've never really cared for mustard. If a little bit's on something, I used to be like absolutely paranoid if a little bit was on it and just go crazy. But it's like, oh, I won't eat that. But no, I do eat things that have a small amount of mustard. It's just not something I would go and out of my way to deliberately put on one of my foods. Let's see. It's definitely not something I keep in the house, that's for sure. Okay, well, throw down Dragon Soul. And World Breaker for the kill. And down it goes. Oh, wait. How are you still alive? Here, have a fair straw. There we go. And down it goes. Let's see, how's our souls looking? We've gained about 20,000 souls this stream. That's actually not too bad. So, what is our soul rate in PvP then? Still pretty low. Well, I've been streaming for about 2 hours. Not all of it was actually with the Fair Shra and everything. But still, that is a pretty consistent 10,000 souls per hour. Which is still pretty low. But at least we're constantly doing PvP perpetually while doing that. So that's actually not too bad. Because it's no downtime with us doing PvP. Or pretty much no downtime. We're getting a couple of weird loses, but that will happen almost regardless of what team we use. Just 2-4 goblins occasionally, or some other weird teams will occasionally get the win against us, like famines and such. Or him just getting a billion extra turns, that could work too. Yeah, 10k souls per hour is pretty easy to do. I'd prefer to get it up to about 20,000 souls per hour in PvP. It's definitely quite possible to do so. You'd have to constantly use a soul farming team the entire time, and probably be a lot less distracted than how I normally would be with looking at chat and talking the entire time. But yeah, it is somewhere around 20,000 souls per hour using this in PvP, if you were to actually focus and use it the entire time. Throw that down. Do you actually use that in PvP? I normally wouldn't really advise using that in PvP, but yeah, if you can get that much out of it, I guess it is worth it. 10,000 per hour. Because you can basically double that rate by not using that in PvP. Hey, he's using his soul farming team as defend. Speaking about soul farming teams, there he is. Double Warlock, Valkyrie, Fairish Ra. He is using that to farm in challenges and forgot to change it alpha his defend. Yeah, that's basically what you use. You either use triple Warlock with Valkyrie, a double Warlock, Valkyrie, Fairish Ra, a double Fairish Ra, Valkyrie, Warlock, or triple Fairish Ra, Valkyrie. Basically what you do for any amount of Fairish Ras. For non-PvP, that is. I would not really advise doing those in PvP. They go pretty slow. Earlier on in the game, you can get away with it. But the later you are, the harder it is, because the boost ratio doesn't do as much. Fairish Ra still gets the one-shot, but he's just a bit clunky. Especially against something like a Famine or a Corvash. What to do here? I need those purples that he's about to remove. But I guess we can settle for red instead. We can take it off the corner. If nothing else. So we will go for that. Also, thank you, Austin Gill, for the subscribe. Much appreciated. But why is that not going? Oh, wait, he moved it. He moved the other one. I was wondering why that wasn't going. I saw it earlier, but then didn't double check. I thought it was already still aligned. Oh, he took away the red. He took away my purple and my red. Come on, we only need 1 mana, or 2 mana for it. And I can't even get it. We're gonna get World Breaker before we get Dragon Soul to full mana. I've been doing that a lot recently. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that's almost more of a bad thing. Yeah, we just did. Dragon Soul is somehow the last possible thing we have gotten to full mana on this team. That is unfortunate. It's the first thing we should have full mana on is the last thing that gets full mana. Also, thank you both Austin and Teutonic for the subscribe. Much appreciated. Have you gone over building the Green Day Guild War team with Dark Maiden? Any nice PvP team with her as well? Normally I don't bother with her in PvP because there isn't really a need to. But yeah, I haven't bothered making or crafting the new Green Guild War Day. I was most likely going to wait till the day before to bother with that. I guess we can mess around with something real quick. See what we can do with it. You recently ran into a player that was level 300 or less than 300. Yes. Wait, no. Yes, that's how that works. Yes, never mind. Less than 300. But all of his common rares were mythic. That is possible. You're nowhere near that for your Ascension. How did they do that? That likely means one of two things. They've been in guilds for a very long time, but they don't play that much. Or they do a lot of treasure hunt. Or they paid some money into the game. Any combination of those factors. But yeah, you can be like level 50 and have literally everything maxed easily. If you were to just be in a guild idly and be playing treasure hunt constantly. Realistically, not a single person's going to do that. But it is possible. You can literally be level 1 and have everything in the game. It is technically possible. Well, actually, not everything. You wouldn't be able to get the craftable mythic because you would need to be at least level 25 for that. But yeah, you can technically have everything pretty easily, just by not gaining levels. But yeah, that doesn't seem too weird. Having everything at mythic, that does seem a little bit high. Especially if he has like a mythic troop plus a legend and all fully traded and everything. That does seem quite a bit above average. But yeah, just constantly playing treasure hunt. Treasure hunt does not give you EXP. And constantly being in a guild, claiming all of your guild rewards and stuff, also does not give you any EXP. So it is technically possible just to keep idling for years on end and have a big bulk of resources. There are some people that have done that. People that only play for maybe like a few hours a week. That because they've been playing for a few hours a week for like 2 years now or 3 years since the game launched, they are very low level, but they have almost everything unlocked because they've been playing for so long. But yeah, the treasure hunt's like the easiest way to do it if you haven't been playing forever, because treasure hunt is 0 EXP while still giving you a bunch of resources. It's not a particularly excessive amount of resources, but for 0 EXP, it has the highest EXP to resource ratio of anything you could do within the game, obviously, because it's 0 EXP, so anything it gives is technically an amazing ratio. But yeah, it's pretty decent. It's not really something I would bother going out of your way for, but that doesn't mean people haven't done it before. Let's see, it's just not that common, obviously. Normally, by the time you reach around level 1000, every single person looks exactly the same, regardless of how slowly they leveled or by how much money they spent. Almost every account by level 1000 is basically the exact same account. Because at that point, you've progressed so much that even if you're free to play or someone who spent thousands, there really isn't going to be that big of a difference. Because you'll have all the core mythics, you'll have, or at least a decent amount of them crafted by then. You'll have most of the legends, or at least all the ones you need. You'll most likely have all your good troops fully traded. You'll most likely have most of them mythicked, if not all of them, or at least a good majority of what you use. And there wouldn't really be much disparity between stats. That will change slightly once 10-star kingdoms come into the game. But at this current moment in time, there isn't really too big of a disparity in stats or anything. Because of course, once 10-star kingdoms come into the game, that will start to add a lot more stats and will really start to differentiate people who are more towards the slightly light game, as well as people who are like full-blown completionists that have absolutely everything. Because once kingdoms start coming out with 10 stars, you'd basically have to have every single troop within the kingdom fully maxed out, which is really, really, really hard to do for like 16 or however many troops you need. I think it'll be about 20 actually. So basically 20 troops within the kingdom would have to be fully mythicked, maxed out, everything about them, which is obviously not an easy thing to do, especially doing that for multiple of them. But yeah, as you can see here, we're getting a bunch of resources, and none of this gives us any EXP whatsoever. So everything you see on this final screen we got while gaining 0 EXP. So wow, that was actually quite pitiful for rewards. Well, I guess it could have been a bit better, but we got about the normal amount we'd get from one PvP battle, some small amount of souls, 2 gems. It's also one of the only ways you can really farm gems as well, other than guild and a few other things. A couple of minor trait stones. We end up getting a random trait stone for every 15 turns, and some glory. Normally it gives quite a bit more glory. That's actually a pretty small amount. Normally it averages, I would say, around 10-ish, somewhere around there. But yeah, all that gives 0 EXP, so you could technically just keep farming that. You would eventually need to go and get yourself more maps, but you can easily buy them either for 30 glory or for, or you just use a Tyree in a single battle and then deliberately lose that battle, and then you gain almost no EXP while still gaining a bunch of maps. Okay, well, he'll just throw the Forest Guardian down. He misses, and we're not frozen on green. That's actually really good. So let's take as many possible extra turns as we can. We are frozen. Oh, no, wait. We're not frozen on yellow either? Wow. Very nice. We are frozen on purple, which is why I didn't go for it. I'll move that. Take the yellow. Yeah, he actually missed pretty well for us. There we go. Perfect. And then we just throw the World Breaker, and should be good to go. He's already hitting gigantic numbers because we got so many extra turns there. And then we just throw Dragon Soul into another World Breaker, and that's match. Okay, I was going to say, if you were going to be 1 mana short, that would have been really annoying. And down it goes. And now anything we do will kill it. So have a fair Shra, so we get souls, and down it goes. And now we get max souls. Were you not in a guild for a large portion of that time? Wait. Were you not in a guild for a large portion of that time? Which one were you referring to? Oh, you recently ran into a... never mind. I already answered that. You're level 1075 and only have 1 mythic? I guess that can happen. People can get pretty unlucky. Some guilds also don't do as many resources. I would definitely suggest, if you're level 500 plus, particularly if you're level 1000 plus, to try to find a guild that at minimum does all of the tasks per week. By that I mean you get to this screen where it says you have reached legendary tasks, or you've unlocked legendary tasks. Once you reach this point, the amount of gold that you start putting into the guild doesn't really yield as much of a return. But you want to make sure you at least get past the 6 standard tasks, because that's when you get a good bulk of your resources. And it's generally a pretty good idea to always have that once you reach later into the game. It's just a lot of free resources, and having it is just a great way to keep getting free stuff without really doing much. Most guilds that do end up reaching this have a requirement. Technically, a guild would have to have a 500,000 gold requirement to constantly make sure, guarantee that they would indeed be able to reach that every single week. But 500,000 gold these days, it really isn't too bad. Of course, you would need to make sure you actually have a pretty solid PvP team before you can start doing that, as well as you'd most likely need to have all the gold kingdoms, or all the kingdoms upgraded through their gold before you bother with that. But yeah, it's not too particularly hard to reach 500,000 gold a week. Most people can do several million a week as well. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just get a nice PvP team, spam it a bunch in PvP. I think it only takes about 5-ish hours if you were to just specifically only grind for that purpose. So it doesn't really take too much time out of the week, and you get a bunch of free resources for doing so. Definitely a highly advised to try getting into as big of a guild that you can possibly do with as high of a requirement without being too high for you to do. But the higher the requirement, the better, because that means the more free stuff you get while doing absolutely nothing. You might have to do a little bit more playing each week, but you get a lot more in return for doing no additional or very little additional work. He just double killed us, and he's about to Corvatch us on our last two, which is bad for the obvious reason. We also somehow have 0 souls. Let's see. That awkward moment when you keep talking and your talking distracts you. I never realized how ridiculously hard it is to play while talking. Like, you kind of would somewhat understand when you, like, normally see a YouTuber just randomly doing that. But until I actually did it, I never really realized how ridiculously hard it actually is. It's not something I would really think would be too difficult. But the problem is your mind always wants to focus on either playing the game or specifically talking. And if you're trying to focus on the game, your talking will be all over the place. And if you try talking, your gameplay will be horrible. Or at least below par. What do we do? What do we do? He's gonna kill Fairshraw regardless of what I do here. Is there... Every single move I have available kills us. If I take the purple, he gets a skull. If I take the brown right, he gets a skull. Oh wait, never mind. I can take this brown up. There we go. We found one. But we're still dead. That doesn't change much. Unless he misses with the Mercy and gives us all the mana we need. Which actually is possible. If he casts Mercy right now, and we unfreeze next turn, we win. Unfortunately, we didn't unfreeze. So we did not win. Let's see. Well, we're gonna take the yellows. Yeah, it's over. Oh wait, we still have 3 HP. That's all we need. Okay, we got this. 3 HP. That's way more than enough. We're probably still gonna lose, but let's see. Oh yeah, it's over. Queen map. No! We had a chance. Can you suggest the last lot for the Yarrow, Zephyros, Stratnar team? Hero, fully traded, with any weapon that happens to synergize with it. Even if it's not fully traded, I'd probably still go with it, though ideally fully traded would be helpful, since it gives half mana to everything. But yeah, that's all you'd really need in there. You unlock the hero class from completing out the Stormheim Kingdom. Also, the hero class counts as a Stormheim troop, so you'd still be getting the full bonus for having all giants as well as having all Stormheim, which I believe is a lot of HP. I forget exactly. I think it's like 16 total HP that you get as additional HP. Also, I'd probably use... Never mind. I don't know what I was about to go say with that. But yeah, now we would just need a hero weapon that covers the rest of our colors. That uses the hero class as well. And for that, it can be pretty much anything. Let's see. What are we missing? We're missing green, we're missing purple, and that's it. So basically any green-purple weapon. I believe the really good one is not obtainable. Yeah, Crescendo. Most people don't have access to Crescendo, so what does that leave as our other option? Create 7 gems of a chosen type, submerge a random ally, and give them 1 magic. That seems pretty pitiful. Wish that was like 9 gems. Well, that's kind of what you would have to use. Cursed Blade is pretty bad, and most people don't have Crescendo. And Imperial Jewel would probably be pretty bad. Prismatic Orb doesn't synergize with this team. So yeah, I guess we kind of would be stuck with Pearl of Wisdom. But you would use this with this hero class. You would use it with... you'd complete out Stormheim Kingdom, complete it out. Once you did a bonus quest line, you unlock this guy over here. Where to go? Titan. And if we go click customize, what it does is it counts as a giant. It counts as a Stormheim troop. And it gives you +5 extra damage whenever you are using a blue weapon. Or +5 extra magic, I should say. And as far as traits, the main reason why you use it is all giants start with 50% mana. So literally your entire team would start with half mana, which obviously would be pretty useful to have. I'm not going to switch my hero class to go show it at the moment though, because that would end up costing us 100 gems to go switch and then switch back. But you get the general premise. You just go into that, throw down the roll, get it up immediately, and then just keep using your utilities from there. Use the whatever your last slot hero weapon is to mana generate as well, and just keep spamming everything until you win. I would not really advise using 4x Giants, though. 4x Giants, I feel like, will have potential in the future. As it currently stands, it lacks a very solid 4th troop, as you can see. It's not the hero that's really lacking, though that is slightly as well. It's mainly the Zephyrus you would end up replacing out for something better. Earlier on in the game, you can get away with a lot of Zephyrus stuff because he hits like 70 split damage. But 70 to 80 split damage that he does is pretty weak later in the game, when you should be hitting upwards of like hundreds onto the enemy whenever you do something like that. Because 20 or a 70 split is not even 20 damage to all enemies. And even a Dragon Soul is considered pretty low damage, even though he's used quite a bit. But it's mainly because he's used for his mana generation. His damage itself is actually really below average for late game. It's only around normally 17 or 20. 20 if you're using pure dragon, or 17 if you're using partial dragon like we are. But most AoEs in late game are upwards of 20 damage full AoE. And anything weaker than that's normally not worth using. And we'll throw the Dragon Soul. Yeah, Jotnar for his barrier is quite a bit of fun. Yarrow plus Jotnar can be useful. One other nice thing about Jotnar as well is they end up buffing him, I think either the previous patch or the patch before the previous patch, or the most recent patch. And the buff that they gave to him was they made his boost ratio insane. They basically made him, or they did make him, the highest single target true damage in the game, which is convenient under some circumstances. So basically he has the ability to one-shot everything like a Fairish Rod does, but he gets to do it through true damage. So if they happen to be armor buffing, he'd still be able to get the one-shot on them. So if you're up against like an Honor team or something, you'd still easily be able to hit through. Or if they're running like a double humility or anything like that, you'd still be able to hit right through, hit the HP, kill them out, and then go from there. Also works particularly well against things that have naturally low HP, like a famine and such. Not to mention he would also have the barrier to try to protect against the famine. Okay, let's go throw this down, get rid of that. Get the Dragon Soul. I wanted to kill the Dragon Soul first, even though it wasn't the biggest threat, in order to make sure if it revived. Because if it revived, we could have just killed it back out and been on our way. Let's see. 174 out of 5,000. What do you think of this training? Azura... Wait. 174 out of 5,000 what? Yeah, Azura, Famine, Ketris the Bull, and Ragnagord. I wouldn't really advise Ragnagord in last slot. You can probably move that up to either first or second. But other than that, yeah, it seems pretty solid. Ragnagord you generally use towards the front, so you can just mana generate quickly with them. You also can use them as a frontline tank. I guess in the case that you're using it right now, you're using it more as a backline tank, which I guess isn't horrible, because in case they're running a Kraken or something, it would make sure you have protection against it. And since nothing on your team has immunity, I guess that would work. But against not Kraken, I do feel like giving him the better mana to go up quicker would be a bit better, just so he can start mana generating for everything. Because throwing Browns right into Famine isn't that needed. I guess if you're just throwing the Azura into it, I guess you're kind of right, because you can go and throw the quick Azura, especially if you're running a blue-purple banner, and then just throw that straight into a Famine. So you know what? Yeah, you can probably leave it as is then. What banner are you running with that? Because you kind of need a blue, a purple, and a red. You definitely need the red, so it goes straight into Famine, that's for sure. Not into Famine, the red, so it goes straight into Ragnagord. Oh no, never mind. Wait, now I'm confused. I just realized. You're completely blocking the, Ketris. I mean, the, Ragnagord. Isn't Ketris brown, red, green? Or am I getting his color wrong? Because if so, you're completely blocking a Ragnagord, which would be kind of counterproductive. But yeah, you'd probably want to move that then. Let me see. Pretty sure that is his colors, unless I'm completely forgetting off the top of my head. But, yeah, he is, green, red, brown. You would definitely want to put Ragnagord in front of it, always. Let's see. Oh, hello, Daniel. And no, Queen Aurora has not been fixed. Queen Aurora has not been fixed to any degree. I believe that's just how it's supposed to be now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Queen Aurora, if you take two pairs at the exact same time, so let's say, well, there's no way I can take it on this current board. Let's say I take this green while simultaneously swiping for a, let's say a blue in the opposite direction. I want to try finding an example. But yeah, if you were to swipe a double gem at the exact same time, it would only give you a +1 for one of them, not both of them. I'm not referring to something like this where you cascade it. I'm referring to when you do it exactly at the exact same time. It will only give it to one and not both. Yep, come on, move over. We're gonna take that, go get our first explosion. And trying to find an example of it. We're getting really unlucky. Whenever I want to explain something, I never get it on the board. Nope, still don't have it. I know the first time I ever tried explaining it too, it took me forever to try to get an example of it. I still don't have an example of it, fail. Probably going to take us this entire battle before I get a proper example. We'll go move that down. Still don't have one. Let's see. Did we throw a Ferris Rush or why not? What's even the biggest threat? I guess the Summoner. And now do we have one? Yes, we do. So for example, if we took this purple over to the right, we would simultaneously take both the green and the purple. The way that Queen Aurora currently works, ever since they changed how trait works to only trigger once, we would only get a +1 for one of these. Which one, I have not the slightest clue. But we'd only get a +1 for either the purple or the green. We would not get a +1 for both the purple and the green, only for one of them. Of course, before, what used to happen is every single color in every single instance, you would get a +1 for it. But now, whenever you do them simultaneously, you will not get the +1 for it. So, for example, if we take this purple over to the green, we'll get a +1 for either one of which, either the purple or the green, not for both. And then we'll also get the +1 for the brown, because it will cascade and then go into that. But yeah, we would only get it for one of these two. I can't really show that because I don't have her on my team. Nor do we have the mana pools for it. But that would be what would happen. Throw a Dragon Soul down. And then just get another World Breaker in there. And Fair Shura, throw that on that. World Breaker, and that should be match. And poke it down. If anyone else still has any other questions, team builds you want me to mess around with, anything of the such, feel free to leave them in chat, and we'll definitely make sure to use them. Also, that is such a decent PvP team these days. The Mercy into a Gorgoltha, into the Infernus Dawnbringer. It's pretty nice. I don't normally use it that often. I have showed it a couple times though. But I don't know for sure, but I think this might be one of the more popular teams that people are using right now. It's hard to tell because I don't really get to see it that often. The only thing I really get to see at most is the few teams that my guild might be running specifically. But as far as other guilds and stuff, don't normally get to see it that often. And people don't really talk about it as much on the forum these days, specific teams and such. Sometimes you'll catch them in people's screenshots, though, whenever they do a bug report or something. It's like, hey, that's what that person is using. Let's see. We'll go and throw... What do we even put here? I don't want to move that, or else he gets the extra turn. So we throw a World Breaker at it. See if we can get a fair straw on anything. If it's even worth it. Oh, I got a Dawnbreaker. Well, definitely not worth it then. Get the Dragon Soul. Now it'd be worth it. Let's go take out an important target. I guess we just throw it at the thing right there. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. Might as well just go full AoE kill. We're already almost there. Fairshra, you did not have alignment, so I guess we just Mountain Crusher into 1 AoE for the win. And as match, even though we lost one. Poor guy. We keep losing our hero class. We're using him as a meat shield with 40% reduction. Also, anyone just getting here, make sure to use the redeem code below. Not sure if it's still active, but we will have another one in the next half an hour or so. Can you try Forest Troll, Vinoxia, Queen, Mab, and Sea Troll? Sure, I don't see why not. We'll give it a shot. Normally I prefer using it with not Vinoxia, but I will go try it with Vinoxia and see how it works out. I don't know if I've ever actually tried it with Vinoxia before. I just have a vendetta against Vinoxia and Ural Fire Mantle. They have failed me too often. Let's see. We don't have alignment. Actually, even if we did, we're frozen. No, we're not. We're not frozen on purple. We'll throw that down. And... well, it's still not really a board worth going for. But is that enough damage? No, it's not even enough, so we won't go for it. No point. We're 1 mana off. No! I hate that so much. Now we're frozen on purple. And red. Oh wait, no, we're not frozen on red. So we'll take that. And then throw the World Breaker. Oh, I could have taken the blue too. Oh, no, never mind. We were frozen on blue. But we'll go throw the Dragon Soul into an AoE and instant match. And we get max souls as well. What do you mean by alignment? Alignment, I normally mean when a character can do a convert in any way, shape, or form in order to get an extra turn. So, for example, with Farish Ra, the alignment would be yellow to purple. I would need there to be 4 yellows or purples aligned in any way, shape, or form on the board next to each other in order for us to get an extra turn. And that's basically what I'm saying by no alignment, meaning that there is no 4 yellows or purples right next to each other. And depending on what troop I'm referring to, it would be based on that. So, for example, if I said there was no alignment when we were talking about a... trying to think of a team that would work well for this example. Do I not have a standard Valkyrie team set up right now? What crime is this? Well, let's say we had a Valkyrie just randomly on one of our teams. But alignment for this would be basically any gems aligned of any gems of the same color aligned next to multiple blue. That would be 4 or more, because that would yield her an extra turn. So let's say 2 browns next to 2 blues, or 2 yellows next to 2 blues, or anything like that. That would be considered alignment for her, because that would yield her an extra turn when she does her cast. Yeah, that's basically what I mean whenever I say alignment. It just means that something with a convert is capable of gaining an extra turn. I do need to do that. I need to make a terms list. It was something I was going to do for a video, but never got around to because I realized there's actually a lot of terms. More than I thought. But that is something I really need to get around to eventually. Make a video going over basically every term in Gems of War that is commonly used. Because there are a few of them exclusive to Gems of War, as well as some of them just used in Match 3 games in general that are useful to know. Like Sky Gems and such. Let's see. Well, what do we even do with this banner? I guess we go Frozen? Let it go. Let's see. That's the first thing I always think of when I see Frozen banner and then Queen Mab. It's always the first thing I think of. Now I have the song stuck in my head. No. Okay, anyways. We'll take the purple down. What do I move? I don't want to take that or else he gets extra turn skull. I can take it this other way, he won't. Oh wait, why am I even taking purple? I'm playing it as if I still have a what's his name on my team? A Dragon Soul. I don't need to go directly for purple. Take everything off the board, get the double green, please don't miss. Good. Please don't miss. Bad. This is why I don't use Vinoxia. I'll say that every single time it misses. Most likely. Let's see. I say the same thing for Ural though, as well as everything that double spawns. The biggest issue with double spawning and why single spawning is normally better is double spawn can overwrite each other. So with Vinoxia, the blues can overwrite the greens and the greens can overwrite the blues. It's normally better just doing one single color. Which is why the trolls are so good. Oh, double the greens. Actually, I need to be doubling the blues so I can actually get Queen Mabs. There we go. That's exactly what we need. Get Vinoxia. Get another Vinoxia. Come on. You had 13-17 and you still missed the board. And double green. And, well, this is going pretty quick. And we actually got a double kill off of Vinoxia. I've not seen that. Wow, 152 attack as well. Yep, there we go. Is Aurora fixed yet? I already answered that. Aurora's not fixed. I just did a whole thing on it. Explaining it. You might not have heard it from when we did it earlier. Like a minute ago. But yeah, Queen Aurora has been fixed. I mean, not been fixed, sorry. She's still just as broken as she's always been. Or since the change. If she takes 2-3 pairs at the same time or anything like that, she will only gain a +1 for one of them, not both of them. But yeah, that is still... It's not really bugged. It's just an unintentional consequence of the changes that they made to how the single trait activations work. Because, of course, the previous patch, they made it so that all traits that have multi-trigger will only trigger once. So, for example, let's say something like this, where it gains a random skill on 4 times or 5 times matches. This can only trigger once per instance. If you trigger 2 4 times at the exact same time, or 2 5 times, or 4 times and a 5 times, it will only trigger 1, not 2. If you do it and then cascade into 1, it's fine. Like, for example, if this was a Queen Aurora, and we did this purple and then that red, we would get a +1 for that purple, and we get a +1 for that red. But if they happen simultaneously, we would not get a +1 for... we would only get a +1 for one of them, not both of them. Which is the big reason why Queen Aurora is basically useless right now. Because they indirectly nerfed her trait to be almost useless. Which was the whole reason she was even used in the first place. They really do need to... If they're going to leave the game as it is right now, they do need to reconsider buffing Queen Aurora, I do feel like. Either give her more of a gem spawn or something. Because the change that they made to her trait is pretty horrible towards her. I don't even think she was refundable when they made that change either. Because normally they refund troops that get nerfed, but because she was so indirectly nerfed, I don't think they actually offered the refund. She would definitely be one that's worth refunding if you have already traded her and they ever do add a refund for her, for whatever reason. Pretty sure it's too late at this point that they ever would. But if they do happen to do that, it's definitely worth refunding her. What to do? I'll take the red over. Please try Gorgotha and Furnace, Dawnbringer, Famine. Oh, did I not do that earlier? I'm sorry if I didn't. But yeah, let me go do that. There was some similar team to that that someone I think mentioned that I actually didn't even do. If so, please re-mention that, and I'll go do it. Completely forgot, my bad. But yeah, we'll go definitely do the one that you just mentioned. You managed to catch your stream for once. Hello, welcome. Let's see, I'm trying to say your name. Satum, welcome. What mythic should you craft next? You're only missing Wolf Garrick, Guard's Avatar, Doomclaw, Plague, and Jotnar. Based on those, I'd probably go for either Guard's Avatar or Plague. Plague is a nice impervious troop that is really good with Azura with all of its stat reductions. Actually, Azura single-handedly made Plague viable. Not because Plague became any stronger, but because there's now another stat reducer that not only helps mana generate for Plague, but also it's just a double synergy in that you get 2 different options to reduce down stats. But also with the presence of additional Krakens and such being used like crazy still, it's nice having a impervious last slot of Plague. It's also pretty good just for reducing down the enemy stats. Plague is a mythic that is generally not used often, as it's a very slow win, but it's very common to see on defend because it might be a slow win, but it's pretty consistent at winning. Because you can disable the enemy to the point where they can't do anything. As far as Guard's Avatar, if you already have Roadbreaker, you technically don't need Guard's Avatar. The only thing that Guard's Avatar really gets used for is for really quick single cast or double cast team wipes on the enemy team. One other thing that's particularly good for is against all Daemon teams, particularly one focused on Famine, because when you cast a guard's avatar, it silences all daemons. So it's a pretty nice utility. So it would definitely be a toss-up between those two. It really depends which one you want more. If you want something to work in Guild Wars or your defense, which would be Plague, or if you want something to just completely tear things apart with, or to counter out daemons, you would go the guard's avatar. Plague has more uses, but guard's avatar's use would be more realistic to actually use in more battles. Okay, we'll move that over. Take that. And this battle's not looking good. Annoying Famine again. Do I really need to start using Spirit Fox again just to counter out Famine? The same thing had to happen when Mercy was at her prime. Even though Mercy was never modified, there was a couple patches, particularly when Great Maul had the 15% chance to kill on its skulls, where Mercy was considered basically the strongest troop in the game, not because Mercy was the strongest, but because the things that it got to synergize with were the strongest. But yeah, that was pretty funny back when Great Maul had a skull chance, or Devour chance, all in his skulls. Because not only could he instantly kill with a Mercy into full manaing him, but he also had a 15% chance to instantly kill with a Devour. Not even just instant kill, but also get their stats with a Devour constantly, which was very, very potent. And it was also glitched in that if you did a skull spam, you could multi-trigger it to devour the entire team. With one single skull spam, you could 4 times devour the opposing team. Or technically 3, because the first one would die to skulls, but then the other 3 would die to the devour. I actually have a clip of that too. I think it has no sound, because I didn't bother putting sound over it or anything. That was like way back when we started doing videos on a regular basis. But I do have a clip of that being shown. Let me actually go find that real quick. It was pretty funny. I had to record it and upload it because it was something I knew that would be fixed, and I had to record it before they fixed it. That was actually one thing I was not able to record before they changed it. It was actually the video I was going to do to start off me doing my channel on a regular basis, but oddly enough, it was patched the exact day I started doing videos on a daily basis around 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. I think a few months from now, 3 months, 3.5 months will be 2 years. But yeah, they ended up doing a nerf to Dust Devils. I was going to do 4 times Dust Devil as a video and go through the entirety of PvP using only 4 times Dust Devil. Dust Devil used to have a magic boost ratio on his damage. So basically he was doing around 15 damage per cast. And due to stats at the time, 4 Dust Devils was enough to wipe out basically any team in the game. Which obviously was pretty overpowered, because you didn't even need to touch the board to completely team wipe your enemy. Which is, yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice to have. Anyways, let me go do the, what was I about to go do? There was something specifically I was about to go do, other than just the team. Or was it just the team? Wait, 1 second. What was I about to go do? I completely forgot! No! It was related to what I was just doing. Oh no, I completely forgot. Well, let me go do the team and maybe I'll go remember. Completely forgot what I was gonna do. Let me go do the team. Okay, let's see. Why is it not scrolling down? There we go. Let me go do Gorgotha. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to go show that one clip. I remember now. Let me go get that one clip. Yes, I remember. That one clip where the Great Maul devoured everything. Oh, good times. This was probably one of the funniest metas that ever existed in the game. Actually, there's been quite a few funny ones, but... where is my channel? Can't even find my own channel. That's pretty bad. There we go. Well, there's so many ways to get to it, and they keep changing it too. Ever since a couple of months ago, they changed the back end of YouTube, how it looks, and it annoys me. Because not only did they change it, but they only partially changed it. So some parts of YouTube has it in the new format, and some parts of YouTube has it in the old format, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's really confusing and always trips me up when I'm doing it. Okay, why am I doing under Video Manager? I need to go under my videos. It'd be a lot easier to check, because I can just do it by date and be like one of the oldest videos on my channel. Let me see. I do want to go post that real quick because it is worth referencing since we were talking about it. 1 second. 1 second. I'll try getting the exact timestamp too to not waste any more time on it. Oldest. I'm not going to bring it up, but I'll just post the video thingy. Let's see. Where'd it go? 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 There it is. I think this is it. Devour everything in 1 second. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Oh, I accidentally killed one of them. Okay, I think it's right around here. I remember when the game used to look like this. Good old times. When we actually had the barriers that looked like this. Let's see. Also, I forgot how slow not having multiple speed is. There it is. But yeah, this right here. Oh yeah, this was also when Bone Dragon was the most insane thing ever. Let me go get the timestamp for this. But yeah, this was pretty funny. Let me see. Where's the timestamp share thingy? Start at time. Copy that. And there it is. Okay. Sorry for taking so long with that, but there you go. There's the exact timestamp and everything with that. But yeah, that's what Great Maul used to be like. It's pretty funny. Also, that's also what Bone Dragon used to be like. What was I about to do? Oh yeah, the team that used this Gorgolfa and everything. Let me go get that into place. And where to go? Gorgolfa, Infernus, Dawnbringer, and Famine. Infernus. Also, after this battle, let me go give out the other redeem code as well. Oops, that's not Infernus. Why do I keep using Worldbreaker instead of Infernus? Every single time someone says Infernus, I keep putting Worldbreaker there. I do not know why. They're kind of similar. They're both really gigantic damage sources that also do mana generation. That also have board control in a way. Or at least board clear. And there we go. Okay, so that should be good. We'll throw this into, I guess this is standard brown-yellow, just so we get the quick mana for our Gorgolfa. And go from there. Where's brown-yellow? Rifting Sands, and there we go. Oh, you missed the old Tradestone images? Yeah, the Tradestone images now are really hard to see. I ended up even mentioning that in one of the beta tests, but they made almost no change to it whatsoever. I really wish they would revert back to the old format in them. For whatever reason, they went with different colored icons, but a black background. It used to basically be the inverse of that, where they were all the same color, but the background were specifically different, and it was a lot easier to see and tell and actually read what the icon was. Now, if I just look at one of these, it's really hard to really see what traits those actually are. I can kind of tell, but yeah, it's a lot harder than before. Like, we can see generally, like, that's the Beast Bond thingy, that's the leadership, that's some Invigorate thing, that's some other Beast Bond thing, some other Invigorate thing, his legendary trait. I believe that's the thing that gives 2 times damage or something, extra attack when something casts, Invigorate thingy, Arcane, and its unique trait. But, yeah, they're somewhat hard to really tell. And as a newer player, I would have absolutely no clue what that means. I'm pretty sure most people don't really know. Well, I shouldn't say most people, but most newer players, I should say, don't really know what on earth is going on with that. We'll go with the purple over. Take the blue down. Hey, we got Famine. Hey, it feels good to actually have a Famine on our team for once. I've lost to like 5 Famines today. Feels good to finally win due to having a Famine. Here, I have a Famine. There we go. That's what you get for using Famines against us. And then just Dawnbringer into Infernus in this match. Way more than overkill. And there we go. Wait, did he say Worldbreaker? And I'm using the wrong one? Wait, did he seriously say No, he said Infernus. He said Gorgolfa, Infernus, Dawnbringer, Famine. Oh yes, the answer to Daniel's question is no. The thing does not, Aurora does not work. If you take 2 simultaneously, it will only give you a +1 to one of the 2. It will not give it to both simultaneously. Well, we'll go take that. Like right there. Oops, that would have been the perfect example. But us taking, well, it's a little bit too late to explain what just happened now because it happened pretty quick. But us taking that 2/3 pair right there would have only given us a +1 on one of them, not on both. But we would have gotten the +1 on the Cascade as well. So we would have, even though we matched 3 different pairs there, we only would have gotten 2 of the +1s, not 3. Because the ones that happen simultaneously like that do not actually yield you both the +1s at this current moment in time. It only gives you 1 of the 2. And that's because all the traits like that that trigger on a specific instance, no longer multi-trigger. So anything that triggers on an extra turn or under certain circumstance or anything like that, they can only trigger once per instance. Oh wait, why did I not use Famine? Fail. And we didn't get an extra turn there either. Well, I guess that's not too bad. It didn't actually kill us or anything, but still. I think I'm going to wait a turn and just hope it doesn't extra turn at this point. And then just Famine it. Here, have a Famine. And that should be match at this point. Not much more we have to throw into it. Just throw Gurgulfa and then kill it out. Also, let me go give out the redeem code. I just said I was about to go do it, and then I didn't. Let me go do that. And there we go. Okay, let me go find the redeem code. Shouldn't be too long. We already know where it is. Yeah, no problem. And if anyone else still has a question, feel free to leave it in chat, and we'll definitely make sure to go over it. What is the best all-famine team or female team? I actually don't know what that would be. I'm pretty sure we'd use Azura. We can go test that. Let me go give out the redeem code real quick, though. 1 second. Let me go find it. Edit. And where is the code? Right there. Let me go copy it, put it in the other thing, copy it again. But yeah, anyone on PC and mobile, definitely make sure to use the redeem codes. It's a bunch of free resources. You use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code. Let me go replace the one right below me with a fresh one. And where to go? Oops, that's YouTube chat. That is not what I need to replace. That is what I need to replace. There we go. Okay, and you just put that code in. I'll also copy paste it in a chat, so you can just copy paste it. And there it is in chat right there. And you just use it on gemsofwar.com underneath game code, or simply use the link that I just posted. Let me go claim it myself. You can find your invite code underneath your settings, underneath the invite codes thing. Whatever your game says there is what you put in. This only works on PC and mobile. Do keep that in mind. But if you are on PC and mobile, definitely make sure to claim it. Might as well. And let me just put in all the information, put in the invite code, put in the redeem code, which is below us. Redeem, I'm not a robot. And... oh, wait. The redeem code does not exist. Did anyone else get the redeem code does not exist problem? I might have accidentally put a space or something in. Let me see. Oops, that is the wrong location. Oh no! Wait, I might need to go get a different code. That or I accidentally copy-pasted it incorrectly. Is anyone else getting that issue? Let me see. Does not exist. RIP. Okay, maybe I copy-pasted it wrong. Is it 10 characters long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is indeed 10. Okay, let me double-check the mail. Defend rewards. Yep, it is not working. Okay, plan B. Let's go with another code. Well, that one's not working. My bad. This is why we test them. Let's go with this one that says Tacet. So Tacet twice. So I don't even really need to post this one, but yeah. Because you guys will already know what it is. But yeah, it's just the word Tacet twice. Spelled with an E instead of an I. And let me go get that into chat as well. And below me. This one should work. It better. Let's see, redeem code. Put that below us. Tacet. And there we go. And let me go copy paste it into the chat. And was it 11 characters long? One too many digits? What happens if you don't put the last digit in it? Maybe it will work. Oh yeah, it is one too long. Yeah, I guess she just randomly generated me a code that somehow is 11 instead of 10. That wouldn't be the first time she's done that. She's also done 9 instead of 10 before. But yeah, let me know if you guys figure out a way to type that in that actually works. The previous one, but Tacet should work. And let's go put it in. That's funny. I need to put in Tacet for my invite code as well as Tacet for the code. I had to type Tacet 3 times. There we go. And redeem. And that one definitely works. And that gives the normal reward of 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Let's see what we get from the 1 gem key. I'd probably save this for when the new kingdom comes out, but might as well open it now, see what we get. We got the useless mimic, the really random guy that does nothing worthwhile other than devour. If he could devour at 100% chance at 11 mana cost, that'd be insane. Obviously, that'd be way too overpowered, though. But yeah, that's the only thing that's really good on him is the fact that he can actually hit a random devour, which is nice. Unfortunately, it's 1 in 6 chance, so not really that viable. Was there any other questions I missed? What is the best all-female team? Oh yeah, we need to go do all-female team. Let me go do that. Which one of the mythics would you get this week in the Soul Forge. I forget what's currently available, but I believe it was... I actually forget what's available. I know Crimson Mat was available for people that don't have one yet, but I don't remember what the mythic was. I believe there was no mythics worth crafting, if I'm not mistaken, this week. It's normally better just to wait. It takes a long while to get the resources, so you might as well use it on something that's really good or that you desperately need. There's no point in throwing the diamonds at something that's useless. Or at least not exactly what you want. You should always be throwing at the exact thing that you want. You might have to wait a couple weeks, but it will eventually come on rotation. Also, as of next patch, they will be changing how the Soul Forge works in a good way, in that they will be adding a way to, or it's basically going to rotate through everything at least once before it starts rotating again. So at this current moment in time, we could have something like, let's say, a Infernus pop up 5 weeks in a row, and then have a Ferrous Rod that doesn't pop up for 3 months. That is technically possible right now. But what they're going to be changing next patch, and I believe they have confirmed it pretty much at this point, that it will indeed be in next patch, is it will go in a rotation. So every single mythic will come at least once before a mythic comes again. So it will only ever take about a month or two to ever see a single mythic, and you'll always have a guaranteed chance that every approximately a month or so, you'll end up seeing the full rotation of every mythic go by. But yeah, as far as this current moment in time, yeah, I don't think there was really anything upsets dungeon. That is not what I meant to click on. What am I looking for? I'm looking for troops. Yeah, as far as mythics, Worldbreaker. Worldbreaker would be what you could craft out of everything currently available. If you had to choose between Guard Avatar and Worldbreaker, I would definitely go with Worldbreaker for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. There's so much more he's used with. He generates more mana. He does have the highest mana cost in the game, but he has a static 18 explosion, which means even with magic reduction, he still gets to maintain his full mana generation. Traits are kind of average, but they're still kind of helpful, particularly if he randomly hits on magic, due to the fact that his damage is boosted based on it. But it's mainly used in all dragon teams. There are a few other instances that he's used in, though generally he's better replaced with an Infernus than using him in a team that's not pure dragon. But in pure dragon, he's just insanely strong, due to the fact that you can use dragon hero class with it, as well as just other dragons in general. Also, there's a new dragon coming in next kingdom as well. Actually, both the new kingdoms are bringing a pretty decent dragon into them. Next one is bringing a very, very, very strong one. That also synergizes with Worldbreaker as well. So it's probably best idea to go for the Worldbreaker in that case. He just stole my mana. We'll go take that. Go take the brown. Go take the brown again. I'm afraid of the Scion, though. I'd almost rather just go and try filling up Infernus at this point. It's already close enough. There we go, we got him to full mana. Unfortunately, he's just going to go right back down. Oh no. He might get a famine soon. And I don't have anything to deal with it yet. And he has a Scion that I can't do anything to either, which is even worse. Well, I guess it's not worse. Famine would actually be worse. But there we go. The only problem is he's about to gain almost full mana off that rag. And that was not enough mana. Not even close. Okay, we'll move that over. Come on, we need one more mana. Okay, we'll move that down. Throw in Infernus. Go from there. Let's see. Oh, the thing actually works? Oh, okay, so it had an extra number on it. Okay, so everyone make sure to use the other code too then. Use it as, let me double check to make sure this one is working before I go double copy paste it again. Yeah, let me go double check it. Yeah, I guess she just added an additional number on it. And wait, mine still said it didn't work. Nope, still didn't work. I don't know why. Okay, I'm not gonna bother with it. Not that big a deal. If you get it working, then you get it working. It's more free resources then. But we already have the one. Should be fine. What to do here? One Infernus, but I also want to skull him. There we go, we got to do both. And I might as well just skull kill him so he has no way of winning. And now we just poke him again. And that'll be match. I have no good drops here, so... I don't want him killing my Infernus. I'm going to take Brown. He still kills the Infernus though, but at least we got the Brown on Gorgoltha. So we got to keep some of it. Tried for a Brown there, didn't get it. Do I just take the Skull? Yeah, I kind of have to. Well, I guess I don't have to. I could throw Gorgoltha right here. You know what? Yeah, I am going to take the Skull. We'll do that. Get a Gorgoltha. Oh no, he's going to Spirit Foxes. And I didn't get an extra turn, but I can Skull Poke to kill. And down it goes. Oh, that battle went a lot worse than it needed to. Yeah, if anyone else still has any other questions or anything, feel free to leave it in chat. I probably am going to be heading out pretty soon to go eat and such. I haven't actually ate anything all day yet. That tends to be how I eat. I tend to only eat 2 meals a day. Normally like a late lunch and a even later dinner. That tends to be my meals per day, generally. I skip breakfast and my lunch just gets moved. That tends to be how I always eat. What did I move here? Not sure if it's the healthiest way to eat, but it's just my natural habit of eating these days. That's how college has taught me. Because in the biggest issue that I normally had with college is mainly one I inflicted on myself. But because I was trying to get all my classes jammed in as much as I could, to get as many on 2 single days as I possibly could. I would have done them all in 1 day if it was possible, but there's no way to actually do it that way. But I basically had all of them crammed on 2 specific days during the week. And the biggest issue with this is that they were all so back-to-back that there was only about a 10-minute period in between each one, all of which you would have to walk the entire time for like 5 to 8 minutes. So basically the entire time I just had to walk it instead of eating or anything. So anything that I would eat, if even anything, it would just be like some kind of snack that would just be nibbled on between while I was walking. What is the fastest winning PvP team? That really depends on what you want to use. Just about anything is about the quickest PvP team. As far as things like Infernus related teams, Elmagrim related teams, Worldbreaker related teams, all of them have the quickest possible wins in the game, for the most part. Also, using something like an Empowered Mercy into various teams is also relatively quick, because you get your mana immediately, so you don't really need to wait to get everything rolling. So I believe we just lost this battle. He's just going to famine us, so nope. Yeah, basically anything that gets really, really quick mana is what you would run for the quickest possible teams. So, and you'd also mostly do 2 trophies. You wouldn't really bother with 3 trophies, because most 3 trophies are quite a bit harder than 2 trophies. Let me see. Do I even have any setup that would go under that certain format? I guess our Guards Avatar team that we had up earlier. We could also run the other variant of this, which is Gorgoltha, or the reverse variant, I should say. But it's Gorgoltha, Infernus, Dawnbringer, and Mercy all the way at the end. Basically, I would say probably anything with a Mercy. Anything with a Mercy, anything with an Elspeth is probably still the quickest possible PvP teams. That hasn't really changed, because anything with Empowered is always going to be the quickest. It doesn't even matter how much damage you can get on things. It will always be the team that gets assisted by 1 empowering troop that will be the quickest possible option. I'll throw that down. It looks like we'll have to triple cast this time because of how large his stats are, but should still go down pretty easily. Okay, we got our second cast. Throw that down. And then just throw it down one more time and we'll be good to go. See if we have any alignment anywhere. Looks like we have it on the Brown. Get that going. Guard Avatar again, dead. And pretty much something along the lines of that. And any similar team that throws a Mercy into getting all of your mana up into just killing out the enemy team. Doesn't specifically need to be this exact team, but generally it's based around either Mercy or Elspeth. And if it's used with Elspeth, it's normally used with a fully traded Guild War troop in order to give +5 stats to 2 or 3 key troops on your team. We don't have an extra turn, do we? We have a double yellow pair. Is that even worth going for? Probably not. I'd rather throw the alchemist and then throw into it. Yeah, so we'll throw this on blue. Get that down. Get a mercy. And Hellcat. Wait, why did I throw Hellcat? I didn't need to do that. Fail. Also, we didn't even get full mana on it either, which is double fail. So we'll go throw a Guard's Avatar. Now we're going to need to find ourselves full mana somehow. And do we have a drop? Yes, we do. No, we don't. Oops. The yellow also moved. Or the red also moved. Something also moved that made it not happen. We'll throw that down. Get that going. Throw a guard. Let me move everything else out the way first. And just throw the guard down. Double silence. And then just poke it out with a... Sure. Take out the skull. If a troop is poisoned and gets barrier, the next time poison hits, does barrier go away? Yes. Barrier is actually one of the easiest ways to remove, poison is one of the easiest ways to remove barrier because 50% chance per turn it would have a chance of removing. Also, it doesn't matter if the poison was on it before or after. Any instance of it getting poisoned and then the poison triggering remove the barrier. So yes, if you were to get poisoned like that, you would normally need to have a cleanse if you were really focused on protecting yourself against it. But yeah, it's one of the easiest ways to remove barrier. 50% chance per turn that a poison would remove barrier, because every single time it triggers its 1 HP damage would potentially have to be able to remove it. Or I shouldn't say potentially. Every single time it does trigger it, it would indeed remove it. But only if it does trigger. Well, throw that down. Mercy won't do anything. It might after I do a couple more casts though, but oh well. Throw that down. See if we can get another Guard's Avatar, and we can. Throw that in. Looks like we'll have to triple cast again. Not much I can do about that. And down it goes. Yeah, quick teams like this is generally what runs as some of the quickest. The biggest issue with most quick teams is they can't really run with Fair Shra. I don't think there's a single super ultra quick team that runs with an Empowered that also runs Fair Shra in it for the souls. You could probably try, but I think it might be a little bit too slow compared to an actual quick team. It'd be something like this, where it's still decently quick, but it's slower than what we just showed with the Mercy. Let's see. Hello, Benjamin! Any fun plans for the weekend? This weekend? Probably not. Most of my fun plans I already did over vacation. I didn't really talk about much of what I did over vacation, but I pretty much ate out like 2 times every single day, went ice skating, snowball fights, built snowmen, did some errands around town, seen a lot of family, like a ridiculous amount. Let's see, what else did I bother doing? Some things I couldn't really do that I used to do, like go back to doing a little bit of flea marketing stuff because it was too cold. I did go to a flea market, to one of the Amish places where they do a bunch of really nice food from scratch, though they're not really true Amish, though they are and they aren't. They're modernized versions of what Amish would be. I say that because they still do use electricity. They use, I was really surprised, they use actual cell phones, like legitimate cell phones. Because normally Amish are pretty anti-technology, but they were literally like texting and chatting on cell phones. I was like, oh, okay. They normally do it more towards private, but they actually do own cell phones. It's just not something they do publicly, or, you know, as publicly, but they do actually do it. Anyways, but yeah, they have really good donuts and really good ribs. Those are the 2 things they did really well there. They also have a bunch of breakfast food. Also, they have a sandwich for like $3 that's like stuffed. It's like, looks like a $10 sandwich just stuffed with so much stuff. And everything there is pretty fresh and everything. Really nice. Are there... Oh, never mind, I already answered that. Mennonite. What is that? I have no clue. If anyone still has any last minute questions, let me know, because I'll probably be ending out the stream in the next... Probably after this battle, actually. If there's no additional questions. There's no new content today, so not really much to go over in that regard. Though, do keep in mind, New Kingdom should be coming out 2 Fridays from now, not next week, but the following week. So basically, 14 days, 2 weeks from now, the 26th. Mark it on your calendars. We are getting the New Kingdom, and it should turn out to be one of the more interesting kingdoms. Looks like it, not only does it bring a very strong mechanic into the game, well, technically it's already in the game, but it brings it viably into the game, but it also brings a lot of just strong troops in general, so we'll see how it pans out. there's a chance that they will still rebalance some of them, and they might nerf some of the really strong ones that are currently, or they might buff some of the ones that look a bit weaker. We don't know, but does look pretty nice as it currently stands. Team build around the Mythic Unicorn. There is no such thing as a team build around the Mythic Unicorn these days. The main reason being is they nerfed her trait indirectly in one of the recent patches. And because of the nerf that it received, it's really not worth using anymore. I would not really bother using Queen Aurora in any team. You're better off using almost anything in her place. She's just not good. Her ability has always been pretty lackluster. The only team you would ever bother using her in is 4x Beast. She's still viable in that as a last slot. But other than 4x Beast, which is very rarely even ran these days anymore, it's not really worth it. And in 4x Beast team, it would be something along the lines of... oh, what would you even run with it these days? Probably, if you were to go all out with it, probably Wolf Garrick, Giant Spider, Forest Guardian, and the Mythic Unicorn, Queen Aurora. That'd be something along that line. Let's see. Could be, but your guess is one of the relax sects of Amish. Probably. Oh yeah, I don't know if all the sects of Amish. I have not the slightest clue. Let's see. What does the new dragon do? It's has a convert of blue to green, if I'm not mistaken, or the other way around. I believe it was blue to green. But the main thing that it does is it fairy fires all enemies. And Fairy Fire makes it so you do 50% more damage to them. So basically, its cast allows you to make every 2 casts you do count as an additional cast, which means every cast you do 3 or higher. So if you do 3 or more casts against the enemy, you just gained a lot of value, assuming the Fairy Fire stay the entire time. And given that you can use things like Dragon Soul and other things that have extra turn potential, it will be pretty easy to be able to get 3 casts off before the Fairy Fire goes away. But yeah, basically, if you can do 3 or more casts against the enemy, you will gain value from using this new troop. And it also has an automatic extra turn, or not an automatic extra turn, but the capability of gaining an extra turn, which will make it pretty good for just constantly keeping it, so you can keep spamming everything. It's going to be particularly good against Christinex as well, or with Christinex as well as with World Breaker as well, because it does convert blue to green. So every full AoE green dragon with any form of board control is going to be very, very, very strong, even stronger than they already are. I wouldn't even be surprised if they tried doing a small nerf to Christinex just to compensate for it. Did Gems of War just crash? You've got to be kidding me. I think Gems of War just crashed. Well, I was about to end anyway, so this would actually be the perfect time if it just did. Never mind. That was weird. Let me see. But yeah, any green dragon is going to be super, super strong. Let me see. Green and dragon. These are going to be very desirable. Let's see. And extra turn potential. So that would be things like Christinex, Salvini Mora, World Breaker, and I'm not going to count Vinoxia. Poor Vinoxia. No, you know what? Vinoxia actually would be somewhat useful because it converts all blues to green, the other troop. So since it creates both green and blue, that actually would be quite useful. So you know what? Vinoxia is actually viable when that thing comes in. I didn't think about that. So yeah, Christinex, Salvini Mora, World Breaker, and Vinoxia would be the 4 main dragons that would definitely want to be used with the new one. If I'm not mistaken, the new dragon is going to be green-blue, though. So it does have a pretty heavy conflict with Christinex. But with the other ones, it would be pretty nice, particularly with World Breaker, since it has that double extra color on it and everything. Let's see. You slept through the whole stream? What are you doing sleeping? Some people are at work the entire time while watching the stream. I wouldn't be surprised. People do weird things while watching streams. Let's see. Let's see. Queen Aurora isn't useless. The biggest issue is just she wasn't as good as she used to be. She still mana generates a lot of mana. That doesn't really change the fact that she gives you a net gain of 6 mana instead of only 1 from a normal trait, which is a pretty huge difference, which is why people probably still desire her. Also, the instances in which you do take 2-3 pairs simultaneously is very rare, and would normally only happen if you're doing gem spawning or converting. You can normally, if you're just doing it with explosions, for example, you're very rarely going to be disabled at all. The nerf that Queen Aurora got if you're using explosions is basically not even noticeable when using an explosion-based team, Because most of the pairs that you're getting are going to be single pairs. They're not going to be multiple pairs at once like what you would with converters or gem spawners. Let's see. Will the update include the dolphin trip you were talking about earlier? Which dolphin? Someone mentioned a dolphin troop, and then I was mentioning something about it, but I never actually heard of the dolphin troop. I'm not sure which one people are referring to when they say the dolphin troop. I don't know. None of them look like a dolphin to me of upcoming troops that are coming in the near future. So I'm not quite sure what people are referring to with the dolphin troop. Do people mean the Shocktopus? The octopus thingy? Because that's the only sea creature even coming in the near future. Unless I'm completely forgetting of one. But Shocktopus should be coming this Monday, actually. Either this Monday or the following Monday. Most likely this Monday. I don't know if they're going to be giving it as a glory reward or give it to free or both. I believe they're doing both. I hope so. I hope it's available through glory, and I hope it's they also give one copy for free to everyone. Because this was a community-built troop. I guess it doesn't really matter if they give one copy for free. It's already cheap enough. It's going to be an epic. So the only annoying thing would be if they give it for free, but then they don't add it for glory. Because then it's going to be almost impossible. Well, not impossible, but it's going to take a while to get it to mythic. Especially since I don't believe it's going to be in the drop pool immediately. If it is, then that would be fine. But if it's not, that means all the keys we're opening for the new kingdom will have 0 chance at the Shocktopus. Which would be really bad, and that better not happen. Because that means it'll be a while before we get Shocktopus to Mythic, meaning he won't really be Guild War viable for a while. What do you think about Dragon Guard class with Bronze Lock Pistol? I haven't used that for ages, gosh. I almost forget what it even boosts by. The Dragon Soul, World Breaker, and Elmagrim. That seems perfectly fine. What does that actually do? I kind of forget. I know it boosts based on something, the amount of gems it gets to destroy. Completely forget what it is off the top of my head, though. What's it called? Pistol. That is not how you spell that. There it is. Deal damage to an enemy. Destroy 5 random gems boosted by gold collected. Oh, gold. That's what it boosts by. That would explain why I never use it. It's too low of a boost ratio, and there's no really good way to boost up gold as of currently. They really need a Fairish Ra version for gold. Would be amazing. Something that gives you 100% bonus gold or something at the end of battle. That would be so ridiculously useful for so many things. That would also make Bonnie Rose ridiculously funny. It would also make, what's his name, viable in late game. That one that hits full AoE, Sharky. The one that hits AoE based on gold. Yeah, I would love if they added a Fairish Ra for gold. They mentioned that they were going to add it. Though I think this was the troop that they were referring to when they were saying that they would add a troop for gold, which is absolutely horrible. All he does is gain 20 gold on 4 times or 5 times matches, but he doesn't raise your cap at all. He also loses all of your gold, which is completely counterproductive. At a 50% chance, he will lose all the gold. He's actually the only troop in the game that can reduce your own resources, which is really weird. But yeah, he's pretty useless. If that's what they meant a while ago when they said they were going to add a gold version of Fairish Ra, they lied. That is nothing near what a Fairish Ra is. But yeah, I would love if they added Mythic like that eventually. Basically a Fairish Ra, but for gold. Let's see. Yeah, the new dragon also enchants itself, similar to what the KrissTigger does. It's one of the few viable enchants in the game, similar to how KrissTigger is, so it's going to be really nice. Also, you could use both of them together and get them enchanted pretty easily. The new one enchants off of red, and of course KrissTigger enchants off of purple. But one nice thing about that is that's both of Dragon Soul's manas. So if you're trying to get a Dragon Soul up, regardless of if you take red or purple, if you happen to be using both of them on your team, you would still get the enchant on at least one of them. So it's kind of cool how that ends up working. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out for today. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We will be back same time tomorrow to mainly just chill, answer questions, and do basically what we did today. Kind of just mess around with stuff. We'll have 2 redeem codes as well tomorrow. But yep, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 3 hours prior to now tomorrow. We'll be back in the morning. And of course, we'll still be back later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 7 hours from now, to do the standard Guild Wars and all those battles. Anyways, guys, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, good weekend, and all that kind of stuff. New Kingdom is coming in about 2 weeks. Shocktopus should hopefully be coming this Monday. And both of them should be pretty interesting. as far as what they will be doing, and we'll, of course, be going over them once they do. But anyways, guys, no new content to really go over at the moment, just kind of chilling. So be back with that again tomorrow. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.